Hello, Mars. Swiper, chill, Ox, chat. Apologies for the tardiness. The champagne was overflowing last night. I didn't expect us to be here. Right, fellas? Game 7? Pacers, OKC? Who expected that? Hey, Ox, 2 unserious teams? We're not supposed to be here, right?
TJ McConnell.
Not you. You didn't expect that, Ron. So don't start the bullshit, okay?
I didn't. I just said it. I did.
Okay. I just want to make
It
sure.
was going to be over at 5.
Ron, are you all right now, bro?
I'm perfectly fine, big Ox. Hey, man, oh man, oh man. It's gonna be a hell of a weekend, y'all. Hey, Mark, you going to the parade next week? Nah, you're not gonna be there? Fellas, what's up? Wow. Swiper.
Hello.
You don't
Ron, this is great, Ron. What more could we ask for than Game 7, the last game of the season? Literally, the last. Like, we don't have no more basketball after Sunday. What more can we ask for from two teams who I clearly underestimated Indiana? Clearly, I did. I had Oklahoma City handling these dudes in 5 games. I had them straight handling these dudes. This matchup is clearly more even than I think it is, especially when Indiana is able to play their game, which they were yesterday. I thought that they took complete control of the pace of the game. Siakam speeding up things, getting out in transition. I thought they did a great job on defense. There was something that I saw yesterday, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it on air yesterday, Ox, but there was something that I saw yesterday with SGA. SGA's been blitzed in the past, right? I've seen SGA blitzed in the past. I've seen him blitzed on pick and roll. I've seen him blitzed in double teams. I felt like Rick Carlisle, when I was watching, I felt like Rick Carlisle jumped him, not when he got the ball, when he can survey the defense and see what was going on. I felt like Rick Carlisle jumped him from different sides when he went into his action. And I think that threw him off his rhythm. And I think that was a good thing. I feel like that was a really good thing for Indiana. And I think that caused SGA to turn the ball over a lot and throw them completely off rhythm. I think that was an adjustment from Rick Carlisle that I don't think anybody's talking about.
Alexa, play Akon Locked Up.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here we go what?
Hey, and chill. In other news, though.
Yes, sir.
TJ McConnell was balling.
Yes, he was. 100% he was. He came to play. I mean, is there a guy who is more of an energy guy in the series than what TJ McConnell has been?
I don't think so. I think every time he sees Case and Wallace in front of him, it's lunchtime.
It is.
He see SGA in front of him, it's lunchtime.
It is. And
that was the spark. You know what I mean? Like, I think he got him going.
Putting feet in the paint, putting pressure on that defense. And I got to give Miles Turner more credit than I've given him. You know how I feel about him. I think he's soft. But I think defensively, he's done a great job on Chet. A great job on him.
Oh, man, Chet ain't nobody.
Yes, he is.
I could do a great job on Chet.
Chet
no, you
Chet
can't,
ain't
Miles.
nobody.
He'd eat your lunch. He would 100% eat your lunch. So
he needs to eat some. You see him? Go down.
Yes. And the reason why I think that's because of Miles Turner guarding him at the long ball line, disrupting his shot. He's trying to get downhill. He can't be as physical with Miles Turner. Miles Turner is meeting him not just at the long ball line, but when he tries to get to the lane, particularly with that weak hand, when he tries to get to the lane, Miles Turner is bodying him in the middle of the lane and pushing him off balance, not fouling him, but it's marginal contact where it throws him off balance, and he's not able to get any legit shots off. I think Miles Turner is doing a good job on him, a real good job on him.
Yeah.
Does it matter at all, Mars, that well, I guess how much does it matter for you? Hallie, we'll talk about Hallie in a little bit. To the point of what you was talking about with the blitz, even just how they're guarding Hallie. Tyrese Halliburton 78 passes a game so far in the NBA Finals, so obviously that's his job. He's a ball movement. He's a point guard. SGA Mars 32 passes a game, and that's even third amongst OKC players. how do you feel like that defense is in particular, like what are they doing? Do you feel like that's really making him have such a difficult time? And really 2 of the last 3 games, he's had a really, really, really difficult time, and obviously his worst game of the series so far, this last game.
And before you answer that, Mars, you've been really critical about SGA's ability to pass too in this series.
And also, before you answer that, Mars, remember SJ was supposed to average 40 on us.
Who said that, Ron?
What do you mean? Who said chill?
Who said 40, Ron?
Vividly, I remember hearing this, and it might have been you. Giannis Antetokounmpo averaged 35.
Destroyed.
Jalen Brunson averaged 30. Donovan Mitchell, it was you chill. Donovan Mitchell damn near averaged 40 over 4 games.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for the last game, he would have averaged 40.
Yep.
SGA about to eat these dudes' lunch.
What I said was I see him averaging anywhere between 32 to 35 a game because everybody else. I ain't saying nothing about 40, but as you were saying, Mars.
He's at, I think, 30 right now. So
30 on 58.
Yeah, so he put something like 37 in game 7. That might get him to 32. Yeah, I think it's important that Shea isn't willing to pass the ball. It's weird because some games he is and some games he isn't. It's like, I don't know what the thought process is. I think last night, to Chill's point, I do think Indiana mixed up their coverages. I think that can lead to some issues with a guy like Shea, because I think when he knows what to expect, he knows where the gaps in the defense are. And then it just comes down to being willing to make the passes, which I don't know. Sometimes he just doesn't feel like it. But like last night, I think Indiana came with a series on the line type adjustment because the series was on the line. And OKC, I guess, weren't prepared to counter it. And Shea looked egregious. 8 turnovers, 1 assist, maybe 2 assists. 32 passes a game is insane when you have the ball more than anyone in the series. Like,
do you actually feel like that's why I just want to, and Ox, obviously, you're a big man, so relying on a point guard. Do you actually feel like that's insane, or more so just indicative of, because of the nature of how his game is, he's obviously a mid-range assassin, pull-up shooter. Do you think that is that a negative, like a criticism, or more so he's doing what the defense is allowing for him to do? I think he's taking 24 shots a game, if that maybe lower after yesterday or something like that.
How many possessions?
What do you mean by how many possessions?
Like how many times do, I guess you can't really, I don't know if you can figure that out, how many possessions.
He has the ball for over 7 minutes a game. He has the 40. He plays 37 minutes. He's on defense for probably half that time. So 37 divided by 2 is what? About 19-ish, 18 and a half.
Yeah,
so 18 and a half minutes on offense, around average. He has the ball for 7 minutes in his hands, and he makes 32 passes per game.
For you guys that know,
that's a quarter. That's almost a quarter of the game.
Jalen Brunson led the regular season in time of possession, and that was like 6 minutes. And no, I think Jalen Brunson was close to 7.
8. Probably like 8.
It was 7 or 8. Jalen Brunson led the regular season, but that's a lot, y'all. That's irregular. You don't have the ball for 7 minutes of the game.
Shea makes less passes per game than Obi Toppin this series.
That's crazy.
Like, come on. I don't know. And Obi's playing 24 minutes a game. And Shea's playing damn near 38. Shea makes less passes than Hallie, number 1, by a significant margin. Nemhard is number 2, 48. McConnell is number 3, 41 in 19 minutes per game, by the way. Pascal is at 39. JDub is at 37. Caruso is at 37. Obi's at 33.5, and then Shea's down there at 32. It's borderline unforgivable. I think this has been the pinnacle of selfishness from Shea in some games this series, particularly game 4 and game 6. Now, we'll see if he decides to have the game in game 7 where he chooses to pass, or if he decides to just be selfish again. I think OKC have a lesser chance of winning when Shea decides he doesn't want to pass the ball.
Right.
Is this a finals thing, though, or has he been doing this throughout the whole playoff?
To this extent, I don't think it's been like this. But
by the way, in the NBA Finals, he's had 4. So Shea is leading the finals by far. 471 possessions he's had with the ball in the NBA Finals. That is like, so. And just for context, JDub is at 432. Tyrese is at 424. So I think, Chill, that's to the point. And Ox, like I said, that's what I'm asking. Like, how much does that matter? Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, well, that's why I was kind of trying to ask the question, because I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to excuse any
Right.
type of selfishness, but I feel like a player when you're that elite of a scorer, if you feel like you got a mismatch, if you know what I'm saying, if you feel like you're on an island with the guy, I want you to go. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't. But with that being said, I don't want you to change up everything that they've been doing that got them to this point. You know what I'm saying? Moving the ball well, kicking into their shooters. And that's my thing. Regardless of how Lu Dort is shooting the ball, I want Lu Dort to shoot the ball if I'm OKC. You know what I'm saying? When he's catching it, Alex Caruso. So I don't know how much that's really affecting it, and I don't know if that's kind of like a game plan they're on, like, trying to switch things up a little bit. Like, we're gonna ride Shea. Yeah. But with the way JDub is playing, though, I
thought he started well yesterday too, Ox. Like, relative to the game getting blown out. Like, I mean, he started off aggressive.
For what it's worth, the first round was kind of an anomaly because it was a mismatch, but he had like 35 passes a game against Memphis. But then against Denver, he was at 51 passes a game, and against Minnesota, he was at 56.
Right.
He's all the way down at 32 now.
But remember, Mars, I said going into the series that's what the Pacers do is they load up behind your one. So whoever that person is, because of the way their defense, as good as it is, Ox and Chill and Ron, as good as it is, they also know they don't have the personnel just to contend with like constant barrages of passes and cuts and backdoors. They want you to have somebody standing in front of them, over the top shot making, or you're trying to get downhill, and they feel like they can work with that. And I think they've done that really, Mars, not just the 3 games they've won, but really the game they lost at JDub, what was that, game 4? It was game 4. It was the 4th game where SGA had it was like 9-22 at one point, something like that.
He closed out
15.
Fourth, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, really, in 4 games, it's worked. And so I think for them, they're just taking bets. They're just literally saying, like, we can't defend you a certain way, so we're going to force SGA to be an over-the-top shot maker, and SGA is good enough to beat you. I thought for sure he'd be good enough to beat him in 5 games and then 6 games. Yeah. But at this point, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Like, the way momentum works and what is it, like, to your point, the Patriots have nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to be here anyway, like, relative to the narrative. Like, we weren't supposed to be in a game 7. This was not supposed to be our thing. They don't believe that, I'm saying. But they know stepping into a game 7, they've already won in OKC. They're not afraid of Shea. They're not afraid of JDub. And I'm not talking about afraid, like, don't respect. They respect them. But I think for them, Pascal's ready for it. Hallie looks ready for it. Nembhard's ready for it. TJ's ready for it. And remember, Mars, I told you going into the series, asked you, is there a way for Miles Turner to be more impactful than Chet Holmgren? And dare I say,
they've both been trash. I'm sorry.
No, agree. I
wasn't saying that he has.
That's ass versus ass.
I think they both have underperformed. And I think Chet, to Ron's point and Chill's point about the physicality, I do think Miles is at least on the other end offering some resistance to him. And he's been, for whatever reason, he is just not willing to consistently attack him. Again, it's in OKC. They should win, but I'm telling you right now, I would not be shocked or surprised if the Patriots are able to walk into that building and to get the job done.
Mars, what game was that? The playback that you did with this one? Was that game 4? That was game 4. Like, even then, I remember you were a little upset at Shea, and you were saying, like, this is one of the most selfish performances I've ever seen. And even then, I was like, I see where you're coming from. But even when I'm watching, I don't see the selfish. I don't see it as selfish. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Shea being selfish. I don't know. I'm just not seeing selfish.
First of all, Ox, one, we're dealing with the league leading scorer. He's their bucket getter. He's their guy who scores the buckets. Don't get me wrong. I mean, JDub is a bucket getter. Chet is a bucket getter. But to your point, Mars, Chet has not been good in this series. And you look for your stars to take over games. Mars, in these 22 games that we've played, SGA has had 8 or more assists in 9 of them. So he is getting off the peel.
Game 4.
No, not in that game 4. No, but which is fair. But here we are in the NBA Finals. And if he doesn't do what he did in that 4th quarter, they're not winning. That's not going to happen. They're going to lose that game.
Maybe if he passed the ball in the first 3, they don't need his heroics in the 4th.
Well,
it's all a bunch of what ifs.
But we've seen him pass the basketball, and we've seen them not come through. SGA in this series has proven, Ron, that When he plays well, they win. It's that simple. Like we talk about X factors, we talk about, to your point, Ox. We talk about
game
TJ.
1. He was pretty good and they lost. But
Pretty good. I'm talking about when he's good.
How many beyond pretty good games has he had so far, though, Chill? I think that's the question. And Mar said game 1 was pretty good. So I'm saying, how many games better than game 1 has he had so far this series?
That were good.
Well, if he said pretty good is 1, which I thought he was good. How many games have been better than game 1 so far?
So let's see.
2 is for sure. I think the 2 is better.
I don't think he was bad. Well, up until the fourth quarter, he wasn't very good in game 4. He was great in game 5. He was awful yesterday.
So games 2 and 5.
Even though they lost game 3, game 3 he wasn't good. I don't think he was that good in game 3. I think Nembhard did a really good job on him in game 3. Game 4 was the heroics, and again, from what I've seen from him, when he's really good, when he's Shea, they win. When he's not, they don't.
OKC had 3 assists in the first half yesterday.
That's not going to get it done.
And how many turnovers?
Wait, what'd you say, Morris?
3 assists.
OKC had 3 assists as a team in the first half yesterday.
That's not going to get it done.
In Shea already had like 5,
12,
in like 5 or 6 of those were Shea's.
5 turnovers. Yep. He had 5 turnovers in the first half. OKC had 12 as a team. They had 3 assists. In game 4, the game they won, they had 4 assists in the second half. Like the team is actively not passing the ball, and the guy who has the ball in his hands the most is the biggest reason why. And that might be strategic from Indiana. I think it is, but OKC are directly playing into Indiana's hands. Like now, it all comes down to one game. Maybe OKC with the same strategy are still able to just win game 7, but maybe they lose game 7, and it all comes down to Indiana are creating offense where the ball's moving. It doesn't really matter who's getting the shot as long as it goes to the open man or we have an advantage. OKC are running an offense where it's Shea will attack. If his attack dies out, he'll either still shoot or he'll reset to JDub at the top, who will then try and attack. And then if his attack dies out, then someone's shooting a contested 3. Like, that's their offense. It's a lot more stagnant. It's a lot easier to contain. And it's a lot more predictable. That's not a recipe for prolonged success. But in one game, you can win. So.
Has this been going on all season? And Oklahoma City has just done a great job of masking it because SGA has been so good. So no,
not to this extent. They do run a heavy ISO offense. Like that's what they do.
Yes, they do.
But to this extent, no. I think friend of the show, Carson Nerd Sesh, posted a stat. I think he said like of OKC's like 6 lowest assist halves or something, 4 of them have come in this series. Like it's been a big deal in this series. Indiana has done this the way that not many teams have.
Can I ask you something, Morris? I think you know what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask it anyway. Could this be a sign of not just from the players but from coaching too? Could this be a sign? Yes. could this be a sign of a lack of experience? Like changing up things too much in the finals might be. Coach, maybe you're out coaching yourself a little bit. Stick to your guns. Do it works.
I don't know. I don't think Mark Dagnall, like, it's weird. I don't think Mark Dagnall is doing a particularly bad job. I think he's made some necessary adjustments in terms of matchups he wants.
I think he's done a great job. Yeah.
And I don't think he's strayed too much from the identity. I think the identity is that OKC are an ISO team. And I think what Indiana have done is they've made OKC lean fully into that identity. Normally when you're coaching in a series like this, especially as the underdog, you try to take away what a team does best. Indiana have seemingly done the opposite and said, do what you do best so much that it becomes a detriment.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's genius.
That's a great, but man, they've been doing that all playoffs on Mars, and then Ox was maybe the first one on the Carlisle train to this extent, because Ox loves coaching. I think that has been one of the stories of this year. And you brought up a Carson tweet. I want to bring another one. This is Carson, y'all, from Nerd Sesh. Marsh, he said if Indiana wins the title, they'd become the first team to ever beat multiple 64-win opponents in a single postseason, and the champion with the biggest regular season win deficit, 18 games, compared to their finals opponent. this would literally be the one of one ever in NBA history finals runs for a team. And I think Rick Carlisle, you can't hand coaches the finals MVP award. But I think Rick Carlisle is just like whatever the numerical value could be, like Siakam, Hallie. I think Rick Carlisle is like the third of that triangle. Like he's been that good and that important to what they've done this year that I just think, man, like he deserves like insane credit for how well he's coached this playoff run.
That's crazy too, because in '95 when Olajuwon went to the NBA championship, nobody had beaten more 55 win teams than Olajuwon. Nobody had gone through. I think that he had dealt with four of the five first team All Pros before he got to the NBA Finals. But to your point, Mars, I think that Coach Rick Carlisle, I think he's looking at Oklahoma City going, I'm not necessarily I'm gonna allow you to do what you do, but I know you're gonna do what you do. I don't think you can consistently stop us from doing what we do. We're gonna keep control of the pace of the game. We're gonna get quick hits. We're going to keep getting quick hits, which is what I think what happened yesterday. I'm watching Siakam get to that nail. I'm watching Siakam get to that mid post. And Siakam is the most effective when I watch him. He is the most effective when he goes quick. There's a difference between quick and fast. Sometimes fast can be out of control. I think Siakam, one dribble, two dribbles, and he gets to it. And he goes quick. In addition to them playing fast, in addition to them keeping the pace of the game, I think Rick Carlisle looks at this Oklahoma City team. I don't think you can consistently stop us from doing what we do. And as good as Oklahoma City is with Chet, not just Chet, but with SGA with that one-on-one game, even with JDub with that one-on-one game, I don't think you can consistently slow us down and stop us from doing what we do. Now, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Indiana come Sunday night, which, let me remind you, Ron, we do have a Game 7. Yes, we do. We got Game 7 Sunday night. That is going on. And it's going to be incredibly difficult going into Oklahoma City and winning that Game 7. But I think that Indiana, they're going to make it their point to continuously take control of the pace, even when Oklahoma City slows them down. Swipe, I always bring it back to football. Even when you run into football and you get stopped a couple of times, keep running, because once you bust open that 23-yarder or that 40-yarder, and then all of a sudden that defense just opens wide up. That defense just opens, and now you in business. I feel like with Indiana, they're going to keep running. They're not going to let these guys off the hook.
Ron, sorry, may I bring up a super chat, Ron?
Go ahead.
That is, so it talked about SGA point. Realist 123. The box score said 7 of 15, but SGA set the tone for OKC's downfall in this game. Was forcing shots in the first quarter without letting his game come to him. Clearly had Finals MVP on his mind. Terrible. Team. I don't think that he had that Finals MVP on his mind. I do think he was trying to be aggressive in setting the tone, and I just think it backfired yesterday. I think that's just kind of what happens. When you're a scorer to that level, to that degree, I think sometimes you can overwhelm maybe even your own self and your own team with the kind of shots you're taking, the amount of shots you're taking.
Do we really want to see that?
Go ahead, Joe.
Do I want to play Game 7? No, I don't want to play Game 7. Even if it is in my building, I don't want to play Game 7. So if we can end this tonight, and if I got to score 40, I'm doing that. 100%. I'm doing that.
Chill, but when I'm looking at it like now, like I said earlier, I don't really see selfishness in the way Shay's playing, but I can say it's maybe some bad decision making, maybe trying to force some things. I think when you have a guy like JDub that's been playing phenomenal, he's had a hell of a playoff run. I mean, he's had some major games in all series. I think when you see him having a hot hand early, I think it would be okay for Shay to kind of turn into a facilitator a little more. Like, okay, let's get him off. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a guy like Shay, he's supposed to look at it like, I can get mine when I want to. Come in the fourth quarter and finish the game strong, but keep the wheels going. I think how much did JDub finish with yesterday?
After Siakam dunked on him, I don't think he scored again for the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, they went to the bench pretty early too, though. To be fair,
yeah, they did. He should have finished the game with 30.
Oh, I was right, 16. But so like, how do you categorize selfishness? Like when you say this guy's selfish, this guy's not, and then what is Shay not doing that I guess would lead you to not say what he's doing is selfish?
Mars, I think it's kind of more based on, well, not just so a little based on reputation. I don't think I've ever seen SGA as a selfish guy, so it's kind of hard for me to put it on him like right now. I think if I saw him like just looking wide, if I see guys open and I see him looking them off, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of go or attacking triple teams or seeing a double team and like forget it, I'm just gonna go on my own, which he's done it a little bit. He shot over some double teams for sure, but I just I think it might be a little more reputation. It might be a little harder for me to put it on him. I might just be being a little soft on him. Could be that.
I'm not saying he's a selfish player in general. I just think in this series he's been selfish in a handful of games. Well, not a handful.
Yeah. But especially that game 4, I felt where you were coming from, Mars. I definitely felt where you were coming from on that.
But they closed it out. So no one.
The end of game 5 when Dub was on his way to get 40, my boy was still shooting them pull-ups. Like, hey man, give my man the ball.
He had to get his 30. He had to get his 30 in time.
You don't have to be a selfish player to play selfish. And
that's right.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's true.
And that's essentially where SGA was. And don't get me wrong, Mars. I mean, again, I'm the leading scorer in the league, and I'm trying to end this thing. I am the guy. So
yeah, he's making bad decisions.
Well,
man.
And then this actually goes into Ron. Do you mind if I read another super chat relevant to the conversation? I don't want to.
Do your thing, Swiper.
All right,
Swiper trying to come in and steal the host of the year.
No, I'm not trying to steal anything.
That's what he's trying to do.
We have less time than we normally do, so I just want to make sure these people are getting their super chats.
You the host, brother.
Welcome to the
No. I'm not. That's Mr. White as snow down there. All right, so we got D Bell. SJ is not a point guard, and real talk is the perfect one to come up for this because I saw his tweets going to my boy Goods last night. SJ is not a point guard. He's more of a combo guard, similar to D Mitch or Murray. I think that's Jamal Murray. He's closer to a shooting guard than to a point guard. I don't think he's a selfish scorer, which most people focus on. He's an okay passer. So I think he's saying that there are just clear limitations in his game as a passer / playmaker. And so that's more of what the issue is than anything else. Do you all see that as kind of what's happening here is that he just doesn't have the ability to play make at a high enough level to create advantages with his passing, similar to some other traditional point guards like a Hallie or Trae Young, Luka.
He's not those guys. He is a combo guard. I think that's absolutely fair. I mean, a few years ago, I was just saying I just viewed Shea as a 2 guard. Josh Giddey was that point guard and Shea was a 2 guard. But they pretty much leaned fully into Shea being their primary ball handler. He's listed as that point guard, yada yada. But like, he is a scorer. He's a scorer who has the ball so much that he was also relied on to play make. It's pretty common in the NBA at this point. Like Anthony Edwards at this point, he's a combo guard too because he's a scorer who has the ball so much he's relied on to play make. There's a bunch of point guard, shooting guards out. Devin Booker, he's another one who's relied on to do those things. Donovan Mitchell is another one who's relied on to do those things. So yeah, I don't think he's the floor processor, decision maker that Trae Young, Halliburton, Luka. You can keep going down the list. I don't think he's that level of passer, and I don't think he's a selfish player. But I do think the things he's done in this series in some games has been selfish.
No, this is Mars. Go ahead, Lux.
Yeah, you're the host, Swiper. Let me interject real quick. No, because Mars,
Ron, you good over there, Ron? Hey, Ox, y'all still together? Your boy good over there? He look a little. I'm not good over there. I don't know.
You see,
I'm in a fairy tale right now. Real talk. Okay, it doesn't feel real. I'm waiting for somebody to come in here and pinch me. I just,
real talk. I don't know where bro at. I'm praying for him now. But Mars, this with SGA though, it's kind of like the Tyus Jones thing that you had brought up earlier this season, and kind of them getting Josh Giddey out the way. You know what I mean? Like, just you got a guy that can score, and he's a decent enough passer. You're the point guard now. You know what I'm saying? And I see that that's true. That trend has come and gone in the NBA a few times. You know what I'm saying? Where we got guys that are scorers playing PG, and I think that might. I don't know if I expect OKC to win in 7. I do. I expect OKC to still win the championship, but I just hope that level of play doesn't, or that style of play doesn't come back to bite them in the ass. Like, Well,
don't you think that? Go ahead, brother Ron.
No, I was SJ's a 2 guard that gets the ball every play, basically, is what OKC is doing. I know y'all probably said it already, but he was incredibly selfish last night, and he was very tunnel vision. Like,
Well, we
to a
didn't say that
surprising
actually. We said
extent.
the opposite. Well, I think the consensus was we don't think he is or is trying to be. I think he was just more so.
No, I do think he
inopportune
was
shot checking.
intentionally trying to be. So I think
He want the finals MVP. Real talk.
I think
That's
he
what
won the
it's
finals
about?
MVP. I think he was gunning for that early on in the game. I honestly do. He didn't want JDub to kind of get that award. You know what I'm saying? He it looked like he
Man,
was
you
getting
think
a
Shea a
little bit out of
hater?
nowhere.
Conflict brewing. Hey, chill. This sounds
I'm
like
not
the
saying he's
Celtics last year all
a
over
hater,
again.
but I do think he was gunning for the award. I do think that.
Wow.
Is this a Canadian American beef? Is that what that is?
I don't think
like
that this is an
first finals MVP in Canada ever.
I don't know what goes through Shay's mind, but that's a bold
back to your
accusation.
point,
Chill is
Y'all
chill
act
is
like
is
Shay don't
it
do
is
this
it
though. Like I'm
don't
with
know.
I'm with
To this
I'm with
extent?
Chill. Yeah, Shay is a shot chucker, and I'm not. I don't want
No.
nobody to take this in a negative light. I don't want nobody to take this in a negative light. When I say shot chucker, it's for
they say he's a
better and for
volume
worse.
scorer, Ron.
He's okay.
People
No,
if you say shot chucker, people are not gonna be able to see past what you're saying.
all right, well, look, if you're too immature to understand my point, then whatever. Shay shoots over 20 shots a game. He gets them up, and he's going to
shooting
do
that
that
ball.
night in and night out. This is the MVP. this dude, he led the league in scoring.
This series he's averaging 22 shots a game. This
22.
Shay is a gunner.
That's a lot of shots.
Like-
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do though. To be fair,
Yes,
Yeah.
this series.
You
he's
shoot the
averaging-
volume of twos he shoots. He's gonna have to shoot a lot. He's gonna have to shoot a lot of shots to
Shooting 28% from
Wait,
three.
chill. Is it possible that, and obviously not throughout the whole season because they won 68 games. You know, they're
Sure.
the one seed, right? But in
Yeah.
this instance, is it possible that they need Josh Giddey
No.
more than they need Alex Caruso?
Whoa.
Relax, man. Relax, man.
To answer your
Ow.
question, not
I've never
not-
seen Alex Caruso play like Josh Giddey did this year versus the Lakers, mind you. But shout out. Go ahead, chill.
I wish
Not-
I might just dropped 20 in the finals like 3 days ago.
Right? No,
I don't
Alex
think
Caruso. I'm not. That's not no knock on Alex Caruso. I only said that because that was the trade. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't
right
think he
now,
need. I don't
just-
think he needs. I don't think he needs Josh Giddey more than he needs Alex Caruso because Alex Caruso has been crucial in the series, just from an
He
offensive
can't
standpoint.
guard TJ. So
But I can tell you what
Who
he can
can?
do. He could also get you. He could also get you 20.
Well, Jokic.
You can't. When you got a rotation dude that could come off the bench and get you 20 at any point. That's a big deal. However, they could use a distributor, a guy that's getting off the peel. Now, maybe that might be a product of their offense. Maybe that might be a product of how they run their offense, which is through Shea, where Shea isn't more of a facilitator than he is a bucket getter. That was the difference with James Harden. Like, as much as James Harden was a bucket getter, he will get off the peel. He is looking for you. He's definitely getting downhill. He's looking for you at the long ball line. He's looking for you when you get into the teeth of the defense. I feel like SGA is looking for you too, but I don't think that he's got more tunnel vision than guys like James Harden. 100%, I feel like he does. So I feel like in this particular situation, I feel like in this particular situation, I think that they could use more of a guy like Josh Giddey to pass, not less of Alex Caruso. Let's be clear about that.
Mhm.
Not less of Alex Caruso, more of a Josh Giddey, a guy that we can get the ball to, who can facilitate our offense. Shea can play a little bit more off the ball. We can get some more action off the ball. We can get him more coming off screens, off pin downs, off curl cuts, getting quick stuff from him, as opposed to him now just getting the ball and him being the offense.
Well,
I do want to piggyback to some Swiper and Mars we're talking about earlier, as far as like the Ox to the combo guards that just get the ball now. Do y'all think that SGA not being able to just firmly beat Nembhard off the dribble and just get into the paint over and over again? Because a name that we brought up was Ant, and one reason why Ant bent defenses the way he did this playoffs is, I mean, we know he doesn't have the in-between game of SGA, but his first step and just ability to get by his initial defender makes you have to collapse like that. And I do feel like Andrew Nembhard, even if Shea scores, for the most part, he's keeping him in front and making him have to make shots over the top of him. You know what I'm saying? And when he's missing, it definitely looks bad.
I mean, honestly, there's been a couple of defenders. I feel like
Nembhard's been playing good defense all postseason, and he's been getting 35 the whole time, so he doesn't get the credit. But
Yeah, I
Even-
think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's a few defenders that you could say could in the first round, Memphis, I think they did a pretty good job, like of SGA, because he shot very inefficiently in that series. Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr. somehow.
Mhm.
And then the next round, I think Christian Brown over the course of the series did well. And then zone. That's what I'm saying. But you obviously have to have help behind you. No one's just, you're not just. And then obviously the Wolves. But real talk, I thought the Wolves had the worst strategy of all time. They didn't even load up behind Jaden. They just said, Jaden, you got him. And then he would just bing, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I feel like the Wolves should be looking at their series like if they execute a better defensive plan, they should feel like they should have won that series because their offense was actually pretty good against OKC. Their defense just sucked. So like, I think the Wolves should look at this like they wasted an opportunity this year because they had a real shot.
And real talk, I saw, like I said, you getting in a debate online with the Luka Shea thing.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
So for you, basically, it's like you just see these situations. You would not be able to throw coverages like this at Luka and have this kind of result, basically, because you just think the playmaking and the passing stuff.
Yeah, if you're not capable of switching everything and not inherently getting an advantage out of pick and roll, Luka's gonna kill you. So the one thing that held Luka back this year, obviously, just one in the best of shape, and to me the main thing that struggled, was his consistency to be just the killer scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't last year. It was if you switch a big out here, he finna get 50. Like that's just what it was. So you have to either double off that pick and roll or try to fight over the screen and being drop, and then he was still killing you with drop, and you know what I'm saying? So as soon as we get back to those levels of scoring, we clear him.
Well, to be fair, I actually think, Mars, tell me if I'm wrong, Luka and the 3-point shot was fine. Luka with his 3-ball in this series would be exceptional because they would have to play him on the floor, like and how far they would have to get out for Luka and even navigating that pick and roll. The issue is Luka can't make twos. Like I think Luka was in like the 30s or low 40s from two for like a basic 3-month stretch. Well, two period, like 2-point scoring was like below.
He wasn't getting to the rim much, so his 2-point field goal.
This is with the Lakers, or this is with the
Lakers. This is Lakers.
Just all of last season.
Prior to December, he was great, and then after December, then with the Lakers, he was just in the garbage. But
that had to do with Swiper. That was a lot of him, just the burst. He couldn't get by. He couldn't.
Yep. Agree.
Couldn't get a lot.
Y'all, I wanna bring it back to the Pacers and the Thunder, and specifically what I've been seeing over the whole series. Now, last night obviously makes it a little more dramatic just because the way the Pacers kicked the Thunder's ass. But I'm just looking at the series in a whole, and I've went back, kind of went through each game. And honestly, aside from home court advantage, I don't see how y'all think that the Thunder gonna win this game. Do you guys sincerely believe that the Thunder are just the overwhelmingly better team?
Well, I think
I think they're the better team.
I don't think overwhelmingly, but I do think that there was some. When I saw Game 5, I thought that there was some separation.
Do you think it's separation now after Game 6?
I still think
in the opposite direction.
Well, on the series, it's actually
in the
really
opposite
close.
direction.
Yeah, yesterday I said I'm leaning 54-46 OKC. Like, so I really don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, as the series has gone on longer, I've been more open to Indiana winning the series. So I don't think. I think this is why a few months ago, maybe it was a year ago, we had a whole debate because I said I don't think the team that wins the series is necessarily the better team. I think OKC are a better team than Indiana. But in terms of them two matching up against each other, in terms of the matchup, Indiana and OKC, I think are pretty even. But I think OKC are a better team.
See, Mars, I think it's the opposite.
I do think that.
I think the Pacers are the better team. I think the Thunder are more talented. If that makes sense. Indiana plays.
I can see what you say.
They play more team basketball.
Yeah, they play more team.
Like they're more cohesive. Like
as a unit, they're more of a force to me. Like, yes, the Thunder are a force. Don't take that as me saying that the Thunder aren't amazing as a team. They still have chemistry on defense. They crazy on offense when they can get it clicking. They're obviously a problem, and then they have really two guys that can get 30 whenever on any given night.
Right.
But the way the Pacers just beat you as a unit, like last night was incredible. Everybody everybody that came in the game was throwing haymakers, throwing jabs, uppercuts. We haven't
Especially TJ.
Especially TJ, but we haven't even brought up Nembhard and how he was balling last night. I was waiting for a Nembhard game, and we finally got it last night.
He's been really good, and I feel like he's done as good a job as as anybody could possibly do on this year. I don't think
Scottie Pippen did a good job.
Yeah, well, Scottie Pippen did. What kind of job? What kind of job you think?
Well,
he did?
great technically.
I think Scottie Pippen did an amazing job on SGA.
Yeah, SGA was horrible in that series, so pretty good.
Yeah, if you want to say it was just Shea wasn't trying, but I think Scottie Pippen did a great job.
Why?
But
we did hear
been
that.
Playoffs. It's the
We
playoffs.
did hear that. He was just vibing out there.
Yeah, but Nembhard's been really good too. I
It's
just
the
think Scottie
playoffs.
Pippen
I'm not buying
deserves
that
it.
whole nonsense.
No, chill. I'm with you. I've never heard that. I've never heard that. I've never just been vibing through the playoffs.
I just feel like, I mean, Scottie Pippen is a rotation guy, and I think he's got different responsibilities. How much was he matched up on SGA? I think Nembhard, that's his primary responsibility. SGA wasn't Scottie Pippen's primary responsibility. His responsibility as the backup lead guard is to keep the team afloat, keep that offense running, not give up too much to SGA, and I think he did a good job at that. Nembhard.
Oh, you got to remember, Chill, because y'all went down. He started, and he was on Jay a lot.
Yeah,
he was.
Scottie Pippen just started. Like he just
remember
started the whole series.
Jalen Wells got
he
hurt.
started the whole time.
Jalen Wells got hurt.
Scottie
Yeah.
Pippen started.
Oh yeah,
The series
Jalen
was that
Wells
long
got
ago.
hurt.
I understand.
Jalen
Forget
Wells
it.
got hurt.
But Scottie Pippen started the whole time. He was there
Yeah.
the whole time, guarding Shea the whole time.
By the way, interesting.
He's a better
thing here.
defender than his father. That's what I'm.
Wonky guaranteed. But per NBA.com, Andrew Nembhard this year. So primary matchups versus, for instance, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell shot 23% with Andrew Nembhard as the primary defender, and that was for like 170 in the playoffs.
I don't even remember Scottie
In the
Pippen
playoffs.
series.
So in the playoffs for 5
It was
games.
a long time ago. It was a quick series.
I just remember them steamrolling Memphis.
Yeah, it was
Right.
a long time ago.
I
Yeah,
don't
we
even
weren't
remember
here.
that. I
That-
don't even
I
remember.
don't
it was-
blame
it was-
anyone for not
Your
remembering that
analyzer
series.
brain wasn't on because
It was a
Yeah, it was
They
like-
steamrolled them.
background-
Real talk. I don't
it was a
even
background
remember Scottie in that
series.
Shea-
series.
but
I'm
Shea-
telling you.
It was a background series.
Yeah, the
I
first
understand.
3 games, Shea was shooting in the
them
dirt,
and
then
the
he had a
Miami
really good
He
Queen
didn't
game.
even need to
series.
come
Yeah.
back in game
Yeah,
one.
I wasn't
watching
When I
that
watched
either.
him in game
Like,
one,
whatever.
they didn't even need him in game one. When he came out of the game, I remember it was like 7 minutes in the
It
first
went to
quarter.
20.
Next thing you know, Oklahoma City went on this ridiculous from like 26 to 1
Alice
run
Cooper.
and blew the game open. They didn't even need SGA for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but if I say that, then I'm a hater. So what I was
They
going to
did.
say
They didn't
is,
even
Yeah,
need
but
him for the rest of the
series,
game.
I don't blame you, Chill, for not remembering
I
who
don't even
started.
remember
the series.
Scottie Pippen in
That series was the pure background
but
series.
Chill, to your point, SGA Nembhard, Nembhard held SGA to 41% from the field. Now listen to this. This is the big deal, y'all. 41% from the field, 11 assists, 12 turnovers.
Yes.
12
that's the
turnovers
difference
and
right
11
there.
assists and 41%
How many
from
free
the field.
throws?
Free throws, so he had 15 free throws, 14 to 15. So
15.
by the way,
in 6 games. That's not bad. That's like
so
1 foul.
58. So again, y'all, 58 total points and 14 of them from the free throw line.
And he's absorbed the physicality because SGA is trying to play physical with him. And he's absorbed that physicality
That's
with SGA
crazy.
and basically played through it. Like last night, SGA hit him in the chest a couple of times, which could have been offensive fouls. And he absorbed that, but stayed right in SGA's jersey. Getting around those screens was probably the biggest thing that I saw with Nembhard. Like one play in particular that I saw was where he got around a screen. It was him and Siakam, and they chased SGA all the way to the corner. SGA ended up shooting a mid-range. He ended up knocking it down, but it was a tough shot where both of them ended up chasing him to the corner, and he ended up knocking down the shot. That's the kind of stuff that was going on, and Nembhard was all over him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stop this guy, but I got to do everything that I can to make it difficult on him. I felt like Nembhard has been doing as good a job as anybody could do at making it difficult on him.
Who is this? Who's Nip? Because Kobe had people he struggled with like this too. But like
Tony Allen.
Tony Allen.
Roger
Well,
Goodell.
Boston just put, you can really real talk, you just put Boston right there. Could Kevin Garnett and them.
All-time great defense. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
What happened?
You know what I mean? Like I'm saying that like this is crazy. Like I don't know a player this elite at the guard spot that had this kind of a struggle. Is there somebody like that for
Steph for 1.5 games against Delhi.
okay, Denny? What about James Harden when he was with the Rockets? Was there one person he struggled with like this?
the Utah Jazz when they started guarding him from behind.
No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Is he struggling? Or
Lou Dort had a few good
Dort
yeah,
in the bubble
good
had
games.
a good stretch against them.
Zubac guarding Jokic.
Well,
Yeah, he did say guards, but yeah.
but the
Caruso guarding Jokic.
But I'm saying, even real talk, the numbers aren't this bad. Jokic at least shot 50% and like didn't have a bunch of turnovers. Had a bunch of assists. I know, hush up, because I knew you were about to say, "Oh, you're a center." In real talk, I'm being for real. This is crazy. I didn't even realize Nembhard was playing as well. I mean, I knew it watching the game, but like looking at the numbers.
But that's what I'm saying, Swiper. Though, is he really getting locked up, or is it just looking like that?
Well, he's not getting to the rim a whole lot.
Yeah,
so he's relying on the over the top shooting.
Yeah,
and when you're not Kevin Durant, like Shea is like the second best in my opinion mid-range scorer in the league. But unless you're Kevin Durant, relying pretty much solely on an over the top shot making diet is going to lead to some inefficiencies. And the turnovers for me are the biggest thing, because the reason I rate guys like Brunson so highly and Shea is because they could have the ball the whole game and barely turn it over. But in this series, Shea's turning the ball over like crazy. Like he had 8 turnovers last night. He had a game of 6. I think he's averaging like just under 4.
Hey, he's averaging 3.5 turnovers, I believe, and 4.2 assists so far in the series.
Like that's not ideal. So like that's not been great. It's another like Brunson struggled in terms of turnovers against Indiana as well. So like the two guys who like they don't really lose the possession battle where they have the ball the whole game. That was a big plus for them. Against Indiana, it hasn't been much of a plus. So Indiana just do a good job of forcing.
I think that's that ball pressure. Just getting that for an entirety of a game, and especially if you're a player that's that ball dominant like Jalen Brunson and Shea are, just over a course of 48 minutes, and you have Neesmith either picking you up full or Andrew picking you up full, like that's going to wear on you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start turning the ball over. Something else I wanted to point out: I had went on Chill with Chill. Comes on Saturdays and I don't know.
Saturdays at 12 and Thursdays at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Swab. L promo from me, but whatever. I went on there and I talked to Ox, and we had discussed. I told him, and he loved this stat that OKC won to play a game in 2025 hitting 3 threes, and that was game 4, right?
That was fire.
Unfortunately, you can't keep trying to repeat that because Ox, you're not gonna like this. Is basketball. And entering the fourth quarter, OKC had only hit 3 threes. They were 3 of 20 from 3. I don't know if you can. You're not going to find success in 2025 basketball if you can't hit.
You have to be able to shoot the long ball in today's game.
You got to be.
Y'all
able to
remember Game 5? Was that Game 5 where they only made 3 threes?
Yeah,
in one.
No, it was Game 4.
Yeah,
Game
4.
Game 4 was like the most. It was a huge anomaly as a game. They barely got any assists. They had turnovers, and they couldn't make a 3, and they won the game. Like it was all like the cardinal sins of 2025 basketball, and they were able to squeak out a win. But they've struggled just creating threes, and that comes back to the lack of ball movement. Because Shea's not a pull-up 3-point shooter, so it's not like you can have a lack of ball movement, but you have James Harden who's just gonna be able to generate 10 off the dribble threes. Shea's not going to shoot many threes. So if you're not creating threes or ball movement and driving kicks in that, you're not really going to get many up. That's why they only shot 16 when they made.
How do you feel about Shea at the long ball line? Because I don't love him at the long ball lines.
He's a horrible 3-point shooter.
We'll live.
We'll live for sure. That's definitely the idea.
Particularly at the break on the right side of the floor. I don't love him.
I mean, honestly, it feels like Wade a little bit. Like remember before 06 going into the finals, the narrative about Wade and like some of the outside jumpers, right? But then Wade flipped that narrative on his head, and then the free throw lines. Plus, he started hitting some of those shots. Was that the end of the series? By the way, I think it was when he started hitting
game
like
4, game 5, and game 6.
Like I'm saying, SGA at this point, the way they're guarding him, they're like, bro, please, like I'm begging you to take a 3-pointer, begging you to take a 3-pointer. He's shooting 28% from 3. Like I think for them, it's just not a factor at all. They don't have to worry about it, Joe.
And I don't like him. I mean, he should be a better catch and shoot three-point shooter. But real talk, to your point, in today's game, because of the influx of so many guys being able to shoot the long ball, you have to be able to compete at that. And if you don't, then you're not going to have a shot to win, because we can't just keep winning with you shooting a bunch of mid-range shots. You got to stretch the defense. You have to be able to do that in today's game. Otherwise, I mean, that was an anomaly going 3 for 16 and him doing what he did in the fourth, because I mean, last night, what did, if I'm not mistaken, watching Indiana, I mean, it was bombs away from them dudes, especially with them playing fast. It was bombs away. You got to be able to match that, and if you don't, then you're going to get ran out of the building. This is why me and Mars had this conversation about like the 87 Lakers, as fast as they played. You can play as fast as you want. 87 Lakers average 2 threes a game. We are getting smoked in today's game, averaging 2 threes a game. You got to get behind that long ball line. And you have to be able to play there. Like I told you about John Stockton. John Stockton could not just be relegated to just being a passer today. You have to score. And you got to score at a high rate. You don't got to score 30, because I think 30 is a stretch, but you have to be able to score at the lead guard spot in today's game. You have to be able to.
I think you have to be able to score at the lead guard position for sure. As far as not being able to compete in today, I think it's more so just about being comfortable everywhere on the floor. So 94 feet this way, 50 feet this way, you just got to be comfortable everywhere. So I believe that, you have to be able to shoot the 3 today, but I don't think it has to be like the Celtics. You know what I mean?
We don't got to do that. We don't got to shoot 53s. No, we don't have to do that.
No. Like let's not live and die by it, but you need to be comfortable, because my thing with basketball is I don't really believe necessarily in a certain spot being a bad shot. It's like take what the defense give you, or just do, force what you want.
And to your point, Ox, I also don't think that, and I know we got to move on, Ron, but I also don't think, to your point, that there's only one way to win. No, there's other ways to skin a cat, right? So Oklahoma City has proven that, like some people, I was just asked this question this morning, would some people look at the Oklahoma City business model and would they now start copying that? Well, Houston plays like Oklahoma City. A lot of their offense is generated on defense. They just don't have Shea. They play like them. If I look at Indiana,
Jalen Green working on that mid range, I'm seeing
right. Golden State plays a lot like Indiana. They play fast. They get out on the open floor. They just don't have Halliburton. They got Steph Curry though, right? They do have Steph Curry. I'm not going to argue that point, but they play fast. So there's a lot of teams that play the same. I just feel like in today's game, there's certain things that you have to have if you're talking about winning.
Yeah, I agree. It was I don't know if y'all have touched on this yet, but I wanted to ask y'all a question because game 7, and y'all just had like the whole discussion the other day about pulling Halliburton when he's hurting the team. This is yet another game. This I had saw some numbers somewhere where the Pacers have been winning a lot of minutes with Obi Toppin on the court, and I think they did that yet again yesterday. Obi Toppin had another really good game against Oklahoma City.
We haven't even talked about this real talk, which is crazy.
How quickly do you get Miles bum ass off the court in game 7 and play and go with Pascal and Obi Toppin? Like, do you start the game
game
like
7?
That?
Game 7 is the most obvious Miles Turner 5 threes I've ever seen.
You know what?
It's the most obvious.
Baby.
But I would be quick to go off Miles. I would be if he's not playing, if he's not hooping, I'll be quick to move and pivot to the small ball. That's what I would do.
Mars, you're right though. Like Miles Turner shooting 20% on a series. Coming into the series, he was shooting 40%. Every single series, he had a Miles Turner game.
Them law of average is gonna hit crazy.
Ron, so are we loading Ron at 5 for 8 from the long ball line? Is that what we're looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Miles Turner in this series, what is he like? How many threes below 40% is he?
He's legitimately shot terrible.
Yeah. Miles Turner is 5 for 25. 12 or 32. Miles Turner gonna make like 7 threes in game 7.
Not happening.
Not happening. No.
Watch.
Well, speaking.
Wait, Ron, real quick, Ron. My bad. Because I just want to say, real talk. I've been begging for that from Rick Carlisle, begging for just Obi and Pascal minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The young fella. I don't know how young he is. I just don't really know too much about him.
The Bradley.
He's
been out playing Miles Turner.
On defense,
in basketball, chill. Just a couple of minutes. You know that offensive rebound and put back yesterday was better than any possession. Was better than any possession we got from Miles Turner this whole.
Any one of them? Even with him blocking Chet at the long ball line, not once or twice.
Chill, yeah, that's cool, but I'm telling you, Miles is not giving them anything, nothing.
I do like the way Miles has played matched up against Chet in those specific instances.
Chet's
Like
regular.
It's been a lot of times where he
but everywhere else, Chet has been. Oh my goodness! I remember there used to be convos about who's the second best player on OKC. That conversation is dead.
I tried to say that when it came up, real talk, that there is a clear gap between.
There was somebody up here that was arguing Chet.
How many times y'all seen Chet try to throw his shoulder to, back up his defender, and all that
ain't got no size.
Knocks him off balance. It just knocks him off balance. He can't even do it.
I like Chet's aggressiveness. I like Chet's demeanor. I like Chet's attitude. I like Chet's ability. But that's not no specialty matchup. Like, Miles, you slowing down Chet. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, Obi could do that. But then Obi will give you so much more.
How many more minutes? So Obi is averaging 24 minutes a game in this series. That's half the game. How much more should he be playing in your estimation?
He's playing 24.
On average,
I need 32.
I'm saying in one of the games he played 29 minutes. One of the games he played 29 minutes. Another one of the games he played 28 minutes. Do you love Obi topping on the floor for 35 minutes?
Why not?
If he's competing on defense,
32. If he's competing on defense, if he's rebounding and he's running the floor, if I could get Obi running the left lane and Pascal running the right lane,
with the ball in TJ's hands,
of course.
Ox will switch up his game plan in a minute. Yes, he will.
Fast. I think you have to sometimes.
Get this dude off the floor.
Hey, we haven't talked about it yet. Pascal Siakam in the series averaging 28 and 4. And he's been
I was waiting until after PrizePicks to talk.
We gonna get to that right after this swipe. But hold that thought. Before we do, though, you guys already know what it is with PrizePicks. You can run your game, control your game, and ultimately you can win your game when you download the PrizePicks app and when you use the promo code panel. When you use the promo code panel and you play $5, you will get $50 back instantly in lineups. What does that mean? Well, you have $50 to put towards all your favorite players in the favorite sports you like, or essentially whatever you think will win you a nice chunk of change. And speaking of winning a nice chunk of change, we kind of talked about it. We talked about what we believe is going to happen in Game 7. We believe that a Miles Turner shooting masterclass is on the way. We talked about how we believe TJ McConnell is not just the best point guard, not just the best pacer, but the best player in this series. Yeah, that's the Finals MVP. Well, this is what we rocking with on PrizePicks for Game 7. Now, you guys, I'm throwing you guys a little bone right here. I'm allowing you guys the opportunity to get in early and celebrate the Pacers winning in 7 in style. Yes, you can turn $20 into Mars. Damn near 2,000. So with this,
shows you're above.
You got Chet and E. Smith combining for less than 26 points. You got Miles Turner hitting 2 threes, which I think that is the most obvious pick on here. You got Pascal Siakam making more than just 5 field goals. You got Shea going more than 32 and a half. I mean, Shea going to get him up, so I expect that to happen. You got TJ McConnell on a demon pick, going more than 11 and a half points. Go TJ, go TJ, go. And last but not least, you guys know I wouldn't be me if I didn't. Go my man Hallie on a demon pick for Game 7, PRA 34 and a half. That calf was good, y'all. And so this is how on Sunday,
I'm glad you said that.
Game 7, everything on the line, I will be turning 20 into damn near 2,000. Download the PrizePicks app, use promo code PANO, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
I am so happy you said that. Yeah, the Cavs look good on the run.
Oh, man. I thought you should have got benched.
He throwing no looks to posters and everything, huh?
Real no looks, though. Not the fake no looks, real no looks.
Yeah, that pointless spin.
For 3 minutes before he threw him the ball. But I mean, sure, fine. I'll let you get it off. So no excuses for Game 7, right?
Especially having
I wasn't planning on coming with no excuses.
2 days in between.
Okay.
2 days. It ain't like it's back to. It's not like every other day. Now we got a couple of days in between.
Right.
So
I'm just
so
trying to
we got
make
some
sure
rest.
we ain't got no problems, no issues. You know what I'm saying?
Barring any setbacks.
Okay.
No,
They ain't
no
practicing this time of year anyway, Ron. All we doing is we coming in getting some shots up and going over some film. That's all we doing. We ain't running. We ain't doing none of that.
Tyrese getting some treatment right now. Like
Right? While we
right
speak,
now, he's
bro.
getting some treatment.
But no, Hallie looked real good last night.
Mhm.
Like if I
He did
didn't
look
know
good.
any better, I wouldn't think he was injured. If nobody
Yeah.
said anything. It was a pleasant.
You seen Hallie say that he told Rick Carlisle that if he's hurting the team, that
Take him out.
Rick Carlisle should bench him.
Mhm.
It's almost like I said.
Mars, I think saying things like that, it's just like, or reporting on that, it's like, duh, Tyrese.
I thought it was done too, but I go pushback. I don't know.
Well,
Like
let's
you're not giving Rick Carlisle permission to sit you on the bench. I think he's kind of like, all right, like okay, Reese. Yeah.
I don't think it's like that though.
Me neither, Ron. Because let's not make it sound like coaches have not kept guys on the floor and they was killing them, but off the strength of them being one of the better players, we're gonna keep them on the floor. Prime example was Tyrese Halliburton in Game 5. He killing us, but he was playing.
Chill, that's like when Russ said, "Oh yeah, I told coach it was okay to bring me off the bench." Like, duh, Russ. Like, that's like chill. That's like when you go to court, go to work, and they'd be like, "Sorry, we're gonna have to let you go." No, I quit.
That's not the case though. We've talked about this the last 3 days. Like, and obviously I brought up some extreme examples. Real Talk got mad at me when I brought up who did I bring up? I brought up
LeBron James.
I brought up James Harden. I brought up some of those guys. I brought up Jokic. And like, okay, Halliburton may not be that level of player.
Yeah, may not.
May not.
I don't know how I'm feeling.
Maybe he is. But
I'll get back to y'all on Monday after Game 7. But what I'm saying though is, like, you gotta rock with your dogs. I know you got some dogs behind them, but I'm rocking with one of my most important players. Pascal Siakam can for real. He could be shooting 2 for 14 going into the fourth quarter.
Do you think that Michael Porter Jr. should have been playing with the separated shoulder, even though he was a clear negative on the floor?
Who else is he going with?
Well, they didn't have. That's what I'm saying. They literally didn't have anyone else to go to. So, but do you think in that situation you just got to play him?
What I was saying back then, I don't know if you guys remember this. When it came to Michael Porter Jr., I was like, we just got to see what the first quarter looked like. If he can't hit the side of the board and come sit next to me, if you knocking him down,
I think he shot like 13% on the
Scottie
series.
Pippen couldn't walk. He could hardly stand up in Game
No, that was
6.
Gordon. No, you see, you're thinking of Gordon. Gordon's the one that got the knee injury. Porter had the shoulder injury. So there's two of them. There was two of them that were, one side of the body.
Aaron Gordon looks as good as I could have hoped for someone.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how he was able to run on that.
Right.
If this was January, how long would he have been out? If this was
who,
January,
Gordon?
when he
Aaron Gordon?
Yes.
Weeks.
If this was
weeks.
January,
5 weeks.
How long would he have been out?
6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, month and a half.
I wonder how Aaron
For the
Gordon's
All-Star.
feeling like today, like right now. I wonder how he's feeling.
How long
right
has it been now since second round? A month?
I don't know, maybe
Today's the
Maybe like 3 weeks, maybe.
21st.
No, it's been longer than that. Don't you tell me that the Western Conference Finals was
3-4 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks.
What's the conference finals? You didn't get there.
Game,
No, I'm saying, but like,
game
what?
7
that couldn't have been.
was May 18th, so about a month.
Your boy's been in Cancun for a nice little time now.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Yeah,
But to answer your question, though, I
Wow.
think if MPJ was like a better defender, then I would have been. I could see him still playing. I damn near don't think MPJ should have been out there. I don't think he was giving y'all too much. Like, especially
Peyton Watson, go.
Halliburton was playing some defense yesterday.
Was he?
He was
Playing some really good defense yesterday.
Okay.
Besides when he got like point.
good. He looked good scheme defender.
Halliburton's
Good
been
scheme defender.
good defensively. Like,
But let's
this
get back
playoff
on.
run.
Let's get back on what Ron.
He's got a good defensive season.
Ron brought up this.
But Mars, I would try to tell you. We went back and forth in this. I think last season, not this season. Last season, I always thought Tyrese was a good defender. I know he was a good defender with us.
He's
I
not
know
a
he was a
cone.
great.
No.
I know he was great.
Last year that man sucks on defense, but
Okay,
this year,
maybe last year.
this year I think he's been a lot better. That's what's elevated him a lot for me. But last year
He was a great defender at Iowa State. He was a good defender with us.
He's always been a smart defender.
Ron, what's the gap between Tyrese Halliburton and Darren Williams?
No, come on, man.
Oh wow.
What is Tyrese doing here?
What's the gap between
He
Halliburton?
in the finals game.
Ron, what's the gap between Tyrese Halliburton and 21 Chris Paul?
21 Chris Paul?
Yes, the MVP Chris Paul. Yes, that one.
Chris
Tyrese
Paul's
is
still
popping
better.
up. Tyrese
There's
is be
many-
popping up
there's
in all
many,
types
yeah.
of conversations. Bro.
No, you ain't seen the tweets that if Halliburton wins this chip, he's over Chris Paul all the time. You ain't seen those.
Oh
Tweets?
yeah, we don't care about that type of nonsense. Come on, man. That's
Ron the one tweeting them.
But Ron, I want to get back to what you just talked about.
Ron
You
said
talked about
that?
Pascal Siakam at
No,
20.
but he believed it. I know he was liking those tweets.
Say that one more time, Phil.
You had brought up Pascal Siakam at 20. What is it? 20?
28 and 4. Yeah, I wanted to ask because I remember a nice little conversation we had during the conference finals of if a certain power forward figured out OKC. He was a top 15 player. Now that power forward didn't do it, but this power forward seems to be figuring out OKC.
Who would have saw
So-
Pascal Siakam coming?
So with a conference finals MVP and the finals MVP, because if Indiana win, with all due respect, he's going to be the finals MVP. Shout out to TJ, shout out to Hallie. Pascal Siakam is going to be the finals MVP. Figuring out the OKC defense that Jokic couldn't figure out for his standards. John Moran said he figured out, but we all know didn't figure out that
Rick
defense.
Carlisle should come.
Who else on that
MVP
team?
trophy,
And-
Chill.
and-
Well, hold on. Who else on that team? Who Caruso
Jaren
had his tail?
Jackson couldn't figure out that defense.
All in
Anthony Edwards couldn't figure out that defense. Julius Randle couldn't figure out that defense.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, for the most part, respectfully, hasn't figured out that defense. Pascal
5.5.
Siakam seems to have figured out that defense.
19, 8 and 3 gets you that.
TJ
So I'm just saying,
McConnell.
Oh, TJ as well, but I just
Hey,
want to
wait, whoa.
Is Pascal getting that Julius Randle love that Julius Randle was going to get if he figured out the defense?
Oh,
Is he gonna get that same-
Mars. You left something out too. I made the All-Pro team too this year. Don't leave that part out.
Pascal made it.
I don't think Pascal made third team. He
No
got
way.
votes though.
I don't think he made it.
third.
He was a candidate. I don't think he made it.
Yeah.
But he's
Right.
made All NBA before.
I
That was
gave
his
Did he
him
make the
favorite.
All-Star team? He made the All-Star team this year too, didn't he?
Yes. Right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
I saw
was
him.
Pretty
Yeah,
confident
yeah.
he made the All-Star team.
He did.
So he
He's
made
not
the
all
All-Star.
that we realize.
Pascal, just similar to Julius Randle, 2-time All NBA. So he's All NBA caliber player. Made the All-Star team. Finals MVP, conference finals MVP, figured out the OKC defense. I'm just curious, is
Jill,
he going
where's
to
he
get the
ranked?
same love that Julius Randle was going to get?
Where does he rank? Finals MVP? Where does he rank?
I'm glad you brought this up, Swiper. So let's start the conversation with, even before Game 7, it ain't 30 players in the game, in my estimation, better than him. I don't think it's 30
We
guys.
say that about a lot of guys. I mean,
Okay.
we have to make a list of something.
Yes, and I 100%
list
will make this list.
There's only
I don't
8
think
finals
it's 30
MVPs
guys in
walking
the game
earth right
better.
now in the league.
Now, if he ends up doing everything that Mars just said, I think he moves up the line.
Where? Say a number.
He's above Julius Randle?
Yes.
Wait, what? Wait, hold.
Yes,
How
he
is he not top 15 though, Chill?
Well, I'm comfortable having I'm definitely comfortable having a 25 conversation about
Is
it.
he the Pacers' best player?
Yeah, y'all. I was just for that. He's the best player on the Pacers.
I don't know if you've seen my tweet. I put the poll up yesterday.
Yes.
Pascal had like
I
55%.
think Tyrese Halliburton is the most important player on their crew. I think Pascal Siakam is their best player. Yes. I'm comfortable with that.
No,
and it's
Chill.
not TJ
Chill, I'll tell you
McConnell.
the most
Ox.
important-
Stop with the bullshit. Stop. Ox.
Wait.
Enough of this TJ McConnell shit.
Chill. What is,
Okay?
how
He's
is he
great.
not? How
I'm
is he not the
gonna
most?
argue that.
No, I
But stop.
didn't say it
Ox.
was the best. Wait,
Oh my
chill. Hear me
goodness.
out, because
TJ
you said
McConnell
Tyrese is the most important. I don't understand what you're so upset about. It's like because I know you're watching the game. Because I'm watching the game with you. We're on Playback together. I
am
know.
watching the game.
I know you're
But I've
watching the
watched
game,
TJ
Chill. So that's what I'm
McConnell
saying.
And Swiper's turned me
I
on
don't
to
think
the
TJ.
Indiana
I'm not saying.
Pacers, who I
I'm not
have
saying he's the
watched
best,
throughout the
Chill.
course of this year.
Yeah. You
watched
brought a
them
swiper,
throughout-
not Ron.
And I've watched them through. I haven't watched a lot of Indiana games, but I watched enough Indiana games.
I'm not
know
saying he's the
that-
best, Chill. I'm saying he's the most important. Like OG Anunoby
No.
to the Knicks. I think
he's
he's the way he's turning up the whole.
So if we're doing that, then
the
Alex
whole-
Caruso is the most important player on Oklahoma City.
Talk about it.
If that's the case. If we're doing that.
He has been. He has been. Yes.
And
Come on.
then
He
what that
ha-
means
he
is
has
that
been.
what that means is that we're taking out the entire body of work, and we're only looking at what's going on right now. That's all we're doing. We ain't looking at what was going on in the past. We ain't looking at what happened throughout the course of this year. We're not looking at what Tyrese Halliburton has done throughout the course of this year, being an All-Pro, being one of the better point guards in the game. We're just looking at what he's doing right now. And if you want to just go off what he's doing right now, TJ McConnell has been nothing short of fantastic. But I'm not going to exclude what Tyrese Halliburton has done all year long to get them to this point. That wasn't
What
wasn't
I'm
TJ
saying-
McConnell. That was Tyrese Halliburton. At the
Wait, hold
lead
on,
guard.
but why?
Chill, wait. But what I'm saying is this: when you have the guys, Pascal, who I think is the best player on this team. You have Tyrese Halliburton, who's an amazing basketball player. When those dudes are they're playing, it's staying at this level. When you insert TJ, it goes up. He turns them up. He doesn't maintain. You don't got to check swipe it. There's not. You just watch it. He doesn't.
He wants to check the on-off numbers.
I'm not-
He's
I'm
been a
not-
basketball you. He's been a
like-
basketball
He
you.
might support you,
He's been a
though.
basketball you.
Back to your
They probably
point,
do. I'm just saying he turns them up. He turns them up. Chill. It's not.
Right, he
it's
definitely
not,
gives
it's
them
not
the
crazy
That's a
for us
fact.
to say.
Yeah, they're +6 with him and -1 without him. You're right. They're
He
cooking.
definitely brings them more energy. I'm not gonna
I
argue.
told
that.
y'all.
I'm not gonna argue that.
Now basketball, okay.
I definitely think he gives them the energy that a lot of other teams don't have. No doubt about that, Ox. I'm not gonna argue that. But who is my guy on this crew? It's one thing for you.
Tyrese and Pascal.
It's right. It's one thing for you to come into the song and sing a part and hit a high note. Who's carrying this song though?
Chill. He not the
I don't think
Chill,
anyone
that's what makes it
though.
hit. That's
He
that's
Nate Dogg on
the
the hook.
difference.
TJ McConnell is Nate Dogg on the hook in this series.
I don't think
We
anyone
gonna
on the
be okay
Pacers
if we
carries the
just
song.
break on
Like,
every
that's
Thank you.
what,
This
like,
is
I
this
don't-
team
I
is
feel
closer
like
to
we
the
don't, like,
04
it's a
Pistons.
team. Like, this ain't a typical championship team. This ain't a typical LeBron James and then respectfully everybody else, or LeBron and Kyrie and then everybody. This ain't that. This is you got Rick Carlisle as the conductor, and then they just an orchestra. Like, you need everyone. Like,
Yeah, it's Kobe and Powell with everybody. Yeah, man, it's a whole system.
It's the 14 Spurs or something like that. You know,
this isn't no
Why would you
Tyrese
have
Halliburton
me?
is carrying the Pacers or Pascal is carrying the Pacers. Yes, I don't think they win without either one of them. But I don't think they win without Andrew Nemhard in these playoffs. I don't think they win without Aaron Neesmith in these playoffs. Now the
Facts.
finals, Aaron Neesmith,
Horrible,
but
yeah.
through the playoffs, I don't think. Remember the heroics Aaron Neesmith had against the Knicks?
Yeah, the game one.
Yeah,
20 points.
what do you like 6 threes in 30 seconds?
Like, I don't think they win without so many people on this team. And that's not to take away from what Pascal and Tyrese have done. That's to say this team is amazing. And no one is carrying this team. TJ's not carrying the team. Hallie's not carrying the team. Pascal's not carrying the team. For me, this is just a well-oiled machine. This is an orchestra being orchestrated by one of the best conductors in the NBA. That's how I view the Indiana Pacers.
Shouts.
Yo, before we get into these super chats and before we get into another segment that we're going to do right after this, I just got to ask you guys 2 questions. The first question, we got game 7 coming up. Who are you putting your money on? If I was to tell you the teams are going to live and die by these 2 guys. Whoever outplays the other guy, their team wins. You got TJ McConnell, and yes, you guys guessed it, Alex Caruso. Who is going, and I'm not going to say necessarily, I'm going to say relative to their standards. Like if you were to take the demon on these guys, the demon pick. So let's say like TJ McConnell, 10, 5, and 5. All of a sudden he goes 15, 7, and 6. Or Alex Caruso for him to get another 20-point game and 5 steals or something like that. Whatever you would say relative to their expectations are. Who do you think is going to have a better game?
Mars, do you fight that TJ McConnell is looking at Alex Caruso like this dude can't stay in front of me?
He's looking at the whole OKC team like that, but Alex
This
Caruso
dude cannot stay in front.
Caruso is a part of that. Yeah, he's looking at the whole. That's why I said I'm not. Alex Caruso's value as a defender comes more from what he does off the ball than on the ball to me. I don't think Alex Caruso is the best on-ball defender in the NBA. That's not why I rate him so highly. And TJ's been taking advantage of everyone on OKC, Alex Caruso included. I think Alex Caruso is better than TJ for what it's worth. But I don't think either one's going to let their team down. I don't think either one's going to cost their team the game. I expect TJ to play well.
Is Caruso inbounding the ball?
At some point he will, yes.
He has been the designated inbounder to replace Judge Gideon. That has been great.
He's been there, Anthony Carter.
Nice. But I don't think anyone's going to let the team down. If I had to guess who would play better, I'm always going to put my money on Alex Caruso. But
so what's more value than slowing down what Indiana is doing? Which when TJ McConnell come in the game, he speeds them up. That's their game. I mean, I don't think that they rely on they don't rely on Alex Caruso to get them 20. Like that's extra, right? That's like finding some extra dough that you didn't know that you had. What we rely on from Alex Caruso is we rely on Alex Caruso to slow down whomever is in front of him and to play better defense. That's what we rely on him to do. That hasn't been going on between him and TJ McConnell for the most part of this series. TJ McConnell has been really good at getting his feet in the paint. TJ McConnell.
Why you got all ones?
Why do you think he looks?
Hey, Swiper, he got all ones. He was late to work today and showed up.
He was at last night.
We already know where he was at.
And he pulled it out of his pocket too.
I was celebrating.
I can understand if it was a piggy bank. It came straight out the pocket.
I'm willing to bet
out the pocket.
Ron got on now. He had that on last night. Ron is in the fit that he had on last night.
Yo, this is my rent money.
Ron, you're a degenerate.
Go to the bank and put this my rent money.
Ron, you a degenerate, dog.
A straight degenerate.
On top of that, Ron, if you was in one of those type of establishments, you saved $6 funky ass dollars. You might as well just do that.
I don't like Ox, y'all. I don't like Ox at all. As a matter of fact,
I haven't had that many ones in my pocket since I worked a job as like doing landscaping for people when I was 12. So. I don't know nothing about that, but that's a lot of ones.
If this dude comes to the door, Ox, is he getting in?
To what door? This?
If he comes to the door to the spot,
nope.
I ain't gonna let him.
Nah, chill. You know why? You know why you're not getting in?
My sons open the door for him. My son opened the door. I ain't talking
about that door to the house. I'm talking about the door to the spot.
He got a poster up just like this right outside the door. Said, "Do not let in. Do not let in."
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the door to your crib. I'm talking about
based on the door.
When you walk up to the spot, this dude is. Are you like, nope? I don't think so. Keep it moving. Or come on, you good?
Nah, you good? Come on.
All right, y'all. Well, it's kind of been a while. Well, last Friday, but it's been a long week and we haven't got a chance to get to it. But no better time than now to get to the top 5 comments of the week. The chat has spoken, the people have spoken, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first comment of the week we got is from C Rose 74. C Rose 74 on episode 578 said Ron and Lowe's should start their own podcast called Blasphemy. They both just regurgitate Twitter narratives they see online. LOL. The worst part about it is that they truly believe the bullshit they are spewing.
Ron, did you believe some of the nonsense that's going on out here, or do you fight that?
Sure, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
You did have Indiana winning this series, and I do think that you.
Yeah, the Bucks winning too. So I don't
wholeheartedly believe that you had Indiana winning this series. But we can't, Swiper. We cannot get past the fact that, Ron, you had Indiana getting bounced in round
in five. You
had them getting bounced. So let's be clear about that, Ron.
Swapper, you are absolutely the last person.
No, I've already acknowledged that.
Thank you. I wasn't going to say nothing.
You had the Clippers beating Denver, and then you had Denver beating OKC.
And I was wrong. I've admitted that. He has not admitted it at all. That's it. That's all I'm saying. He hasn't self-admitted.
Why do I have to admit that I was wrong?
That's what I'm saying. So no. You see that? You see that? He ain't got to admit it, but I got to admit it. Shut
what? Up. Did you just say?
I said I don't. If I'm. That's like me shooting a shot and I miss it, and I say, "Damn, I was wrong for missing that shot." Everybody see me miss it. What was the
same thing?
That's what I'm saying. Real talk don't got the same energy for him because you know why? Chill said the floor for the Celtics before they got hurt, mind you, was the finals. Ain't nobody said a word to him. Nobody said a word. Real talk don't say nothing to him. Nothing. Not a word. Not a word. The floor was the finals.
Yes. I had them in the NBA championship. In the ceiling, I had them winning the NBA. At the very least, I had the Boston Celtics in the NBA championship. And I was
wrong. Their best player got hurt.
No, they were going down 3-1 before he got hurt.
They were going to lose. Yeah, they were going to lose.
They were going down 3-1. It was a 9-point game with 3 minutes left.
They were going to lose.
It was a 9-point game, and remember,
you guys acting like you ain't never seen a 3-1 comeback before.
Yeah,
hold on. It was a 9-point game down 3-1, and then at that point in time, Jason Tatum was the only player playing well in the game for the Boston Celtics.
So it would have been shocking if Boston went on a magic ball.
Shocking.
All right.
Shocking.
I think it's safe to assume that series was over anyway.
KD wasn't playing good.
Probably.
To that comment of the week though about that. Mars, you remember that time? Swipe, I think you was there too. y'all remember that time when Ron based the whole show off when he got Centelled? He got it was the Centel post. and he had based the whole show off of that.
Yep.
Hey, we gonna have some Centel episodes this summer.
We've all
Y'all
got
just
Centel, Ron. I know I have. Yes, so it's
No, but chill, you ain't never based the whole show.
I've been sent out. I seen Real Talk got sent out about Nas Reed to the Lakers.
I did. I had to delete that post quickly.
Yeah, I can't remember what I got sent out about.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've been sent out. You can check my Twitter. I don't think I have.
I got Centel. Joel Embiid announced his retirement. I got sent out.
Oh, really?
You fell for that?
Yeah, I
Oh
got
my
tricked.
God.
I was like,
No, I for sure been sent out. I can't remember what it was, but I remember I quote tweeted it or something, and everyone was like, sent out. I deleted that tweet in like 0.6 seconds. I was like, damn, okay.
Shout out to
If
Centel, man.
you
Still going
retire,
strong.
if you retire before your contract is up, do you still get your money?
No,
There's no way Joel Embiid will retire.
The Bulls paid MJ during his baseball.
that they should have. They should be paying him to
What
this
else?
day.
Y'all, and keep in mind that this comment from C Rose, this is all based on me and Los simply just saying that T-Mac is better than KD. Didn't think that would cause so much outrage. But anyways, the next comment of the week is
Outrage.
All right, you got it, man.
the next comment of the week is from Matthew XL5BC. That sounds like an addition of a car or something. But shout out to XL5BC, episode 580. He said the theory of Fox sounds like a super version of John Wall.
Thank you. Y'all were talking about John Fox.
Nobody said that he could pass as well as John Wall.
No, that's not what y'all. The way y'all talk about Fox is wild to me, given what we've actually seen for the last several years. But whatever.
You've seen him play great basketball for them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but not.
He's a really good player. I agree.
Yeah, he is a really good player, but
He ain't Kyrie, but he a really good player.
But hold on, though. We do know that De'Aaron Fox is better than John Wall, right?
he just yapping. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just
Holy
he's looking.
shit.
He's looking.
Wait,
for
does anyone
opportunities.
else agree with that statement?
Probably real talk.
Nobody agrees with that statement,
No.
Mars. No, better than John Wall.
I'm gonna run the poll on Twitter, and we'll see.
I don't know if y'all realize how good John Wall. Come on, bro. And that's with all due respect to Foxy, because y'all know I Foxy's a good player.
Ron, you actually believe that, or do you just want to say something for the sake of
No, I really don't. Like John Wall was a very good player, but I don't think he was like great or anything like that.
he was better than Foxy though.
What do you think De'Aaron Fox is?
I can't think of anything Foxy does better than John.
I
He was
wouldn't
better
say
than
De'Aaron Fox is
He's
great.
definitely better.
He
Pull-up
should.
shooter.
Foxy.
Yeah,
He's still better now, yeah, because
He scores.
Yeah,
He
he's
doesn't
better
not
now.
just shoot. He scores better.
I think a lot of
Probably.
that is because of, I think a lot of that is because of the shooting. But yeah, I do think he is just in a vacuum.
My gosh.
John Wall, he was a very good facilitator. I think it's a sizable gap between those two as facilitators.
Ron, I mean, at this point,
I
Ron,
also think it's a sizable gap between those two as scorers too, though.
there is a designated section for takes on PC. What I've learned, Ox has a Sacramento's take. Whatever he says about Sac is probably not true, but you get the rock. That's your area. Brad Miller, Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, they're all in that tier. Chill has a Wilt Chamberlain, Moses Malone area where he can say whatever he wants about those players. No one's going to push back. Real Talk has
You do it all the time.
all his nonsense. Whatever. Again, he hits a troll bag that he believes. Don't touch that.
You see
But I'm
how he
saying,
couldn't even point out
if
anything.
If I had
specific?
no, trust me, Real Talk. Real Talk. I know you very well. I can do this right now. But Ron has the most outlandish bag
And what about you, Swiper?
because no one holds it
No,
accountable.
Swiper just
I get held accountable for all the time. I get held accountable for everything I say. I could literally tell y'all that it's quiet as a church mouse outside. There's no rain, no nothing. Are you
Swiper,
sure?
you know what you
Are
are,
you
Swiper.
sure?
Swiper, you are that you know who you are, Swiper. You're
I don't
that
know, who
chick
am I?
that cheats
Hermione?
every weekend. You're that chick that cheats every weekend and be checking phones. Where you been? Because you're guilty. Because you're a habitual cheater. You swear that the
Who
other
have I
person
cheated
cheated
on?
on you.
Who have I cheated on?
Swiper,
You
know
missing
what
the
I'm saying,
point.
you know what I'm saying?
On purpose. I'm loyal to my city. I'm loyal to my city. I'm loyal to my
I had
city.
a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend in college. And we went to different schools. And she used to be on me. Oh, where you been? Why you didn't call me last night? Blah, blah, blah. I go visit her at school. Come to find out. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out.
Hold on.
I'm like,
that sound like
damn,
that sound like a you problem. That sounds like a you problem.
Hey, chill. I'm talking about
Your
I couldn't even
girlfriend
breathe.
across
This girl was on my line like that. I couldn't even breathe.
Can't leave her ass alone for 5 minutes. Her panties off.
You know
a
what I'm
girlfriend
saying?
from around the way.
Stinking
I'm not
ass.
doing that. That's a you problem. I'm
Why,
telling
that's
you.
what you be on. You
Nah, I
can't.
don't
You
be doing
can't.
nothing.
You ran down the whole panel. Tell you this. Real talk you to this. Mario, but you not gonna mention you.
But
you just
no,
gonna act
there's
like
no
you-
reason to. You know why? Because I get held accountable every day for stuff I said 4 years ago. That's the difference. Real talk doesn't get held accountable because we think he's whatever. Ron never gets held accountable. He said that Hallie's better than Steve Nash, and it's just whatever you say goes. Whatever you say go. And he
I
mentioned.
mean, Hallie
and
one
I
game
mean-
away from people agreeing with Ron. By the way, I'm just letting you know.
Oh my God!
Come
This
on,
is
hey,
the
come
worst
on, man.
bullshit at the
Come on,
Chill,
man.
Wait, hold on.
Championship.
Chill. You
This
said
is-
John Stockton's better than who? Who did you say the other day?
He said John Stockton would be the third best player in the league. So everyone not named
Wait,
Jokic
what?
and Giannis.
When did he say that?
He said it on Playback, but then like last week he said Stockton's better than Shea. So, but yeah, John Stockton will be the third best player in the league today.
So
I mean,
Stinky-
look, man.
Stinky take. Stinky take. But we're not going to say nothing about it because chill. He believes.
I
in
have
his guys.
nothing to say. 'Cause I don't want to still be labeled as the John Stockton hater. But like compared to Chill, like I don't know what I'm meant to say when like Chill believes that. Like I don't.
Chill
know
is clearly high on John Stockton.
I
you
am.
know?
I am.
Clearly,
I
he
am.
thinks John Stockton is what, the second greatest passer, one of the best
I think
ball
he's a top
handlers
5
ever.
point
I
guard
learned
all
that.
time.
Wait, you
from
actually
my
think he's
league.
the second best passer ever?
I don't think that. No, I'm not.
Oh,
going
okay.
there, but I don't.
That's
I'm
a step too
I'm-
far.
I'm
I'm
not
not
top
Top five
I'm
for
not
sure.
doing that.
Top five.
Wait,
for sure.
chill. Hold on.
It ain't
Chill,
five
wait a minute,
passes in
wait a
NBA
minute.
history better than him.
Because
No,
you said
it's not.
3. Would John Stockton be better than Luka Doncic right now?
Would John Stockton be better than Luka Doncic?
So chill, real talk, stay out of it, real talk. Let him answer.
Yep.
All right, wait, real talk, stay out of it. Wait, chill, Mars. Would John
Yes.
Stockton? Wait, no.
I already know where you're going. Yes.
Say it, chill, say it.
Yes,
Say
he'd be
it.
better than Jason Tatum too. Yes, he would be. Mhm. Yes, he would be.
Time to run a
100%.
poll on Twitter, man.
Yes,
All right,
he
so-
would be.
John Stockton was really good, y'all. He was really good basketball player.
Mhm.
No, I agree. But I never
I
get
see-
to say that because compared to Chill, I have to. Come on. Like, I don't,
Mhm.
All right, the next comment of the week is from Rock4297, episode 576. Rock said, I ain't gonna lie, yo. It gets to a point where shit just stops being funny and starts being sad.
What episode this from?
576. I'm about to look at the title of that.
That must have been
episode.
last Friday, if you know what last Friday was.
Hmm.
576.
Yeah, what happened in episode 576? What happened, Rock?
Was that when Penn was getting called Zesty Jeffrey?
Oh, I'll see. I'll click on the video and see if I see Go James.
All right, well, while Mars is doing that, the next comment of the week is from Jalen SM10P. Jalen SM10P in episode 579 said, day one of reminding everyone that KG is comfortably better and a more versatile player than Tim Duncan. Just never had the team around him until late in his career. Fuck it.
Always loved the KG propaganda. 576 was just the episode of Bad Takes. That was when John Stockton had a better handle than Chris Paul. When Ox and Penn were getting into it about how many Angel Reese games Penn watched. And all of it was that episode. It was just the episode of Bad Takes all around. But yeah, shout out to the KG love, man. Always here for that. Always gonna be here for that.
Mar, I did want to ask you because that kind of ties into something you tweeted about, like you're learning that you can be a better basketball player but not a better NBA player. What does that mean?
That basketball exists outside the NBA, and that being better at basketball does not mean you're better for what the NBA is asking of you. People
So
interpret.
you think that even exists like inside the NBA is what you're saying? Like you can be.
Yeah,
better
I think there's people in the NBA who are better than other people in the NBA, but because they don't fill the role that the NBA team needs of them, they either don't play as much or they aren't seen as valuable. But they're better basketball players. A lot of people interpreted that somehow as me saying that there's guys in the EuroLeague better than the best players in the NBA. No, that's not what I was saying. I said this a while ago. I think the NBA. I don't know the number. Let's say 75. The NBA, in my opinion, has like the 75 best players in the world guaranteed.
Right.
Everyone else outside of that, they're just the best for filling the roles around the 75. Like I think there's guys who aren't in the NBA or who aren't getting minutes in the NBA who are better than guys who are in rotations but they aren't better at the things that those rotation guys are asked to do. They aren't as good spot up shooters. They aren't as versatile defensively, but they are better basketball players. And I think that's the difference between being a better NBA. And that's something I've had to come off, because when I'm talking about, for example, a role player in the NBA, and I'm like, this guy's better than like this other guy, and I'm like, he's just better at basketball. I don't think that's always the case. Like, I think he's just better for what the NBA is asking him to do, which I think comes down to value and all of those things. And that's a great thing to be. You're a better NBA player, but you're not a better basketball player. But that doesn't mean I think that Sasha Vezenkov is a top 10 basketball player in the world. Like, I don't think that. I'm not saying that. I still think LeBron James, KD's, Steph's, Jokic, Giannis, etc. would go to EuroLeague and be the best players there by a significant margin. But I think, for example, if I were to think of like an example, I think in the NBA, let me think of like the.
Can I think I got one. I think I got one. If you want to do it, didn't it like okay? Dennis Schroeder can operate and like manage a team and do all the like the quote unquote star responsibilities, and that could qualify him as a better player than like Alex Caruso, who does all the role player things very well, but he couldn't do what Dennis Schroeder does as far as
like so
manning the team.
I'll use Dennis Schroeder as an example. If Dennis Schroeder was in the EuroLeague or was the man on his team, he could do things that other role players in the NBA who are more valuable to their team couldn't do. So he's probably better outside the NBA. You give him the keys, he can do more as a ball handler, decision maker, all of those things. But he's not good enough to do that in the NBA because that's reserved for the top guys. And if you're not good enough to do it in the NBA, you get reduced to a role player. And some guys are just better role players than others, which makes them better NBA players. Like Mike James in the EuroLeague. He's a better basketball player than people in the NBA. He's better than that. But he can't do what he does in the EuroLeague in the NBA because he's not good enough to do that.
Kendrick Nunn was the EuroLeague. Wasn't Kendrick Nunn the EuroLeague MVP?
Kendrick Nunn's another example.
He was the EuroLeague MVP.
In the NBA, would ask to be a role player. He'd ask to defend. He'd ask to make open shots and do all of those things. So he's not a better NBA player than. I'm not going to keep using Alex Caruso because Alex Caruso is
Nembhard. You can use Nembhard.
Yeah, Nembhard kind of tough though. Aaron Nesmith. I'll use Aaron Nesmith. He's not a better NBA player than Aaron Nesmith, but he's a better basketball player than Aaron Nesmith. That like Kendrick Nunn is what I'm talking about. So that's how I would. That's what I was trying to get across.
I think this was like kind of what I was trying to explain when I was saying like that I'm not really like an NBA fan instead of like more just like a basketball fan, because there's so many really good basketball players all over the world, so much good basketball going on, to where it's like I think people need to realize that, you know what I'm saying, there's 1,000 guys that are good enough to be in the NBA.
We literally just saw that. Didn't we just have this conversation, Mars, and you guys jumped on me when I told you about when Jeremy Lin did what he did with the Knicks, and there was plenty of other guys in the league looking at Jeremy Lin going, I could do that too if I got the opportunity. I'm nice like that too, but I'm relegated to being the 7th or 8th man, and I'm a rotation guy, and this is what I look like. But if you gave me the ball and you let me do, or you turn me loose like him, I could do that. Norman Powell was evidence of that this season. Right, where he got turned loose, and we saw a different version of Norman Powell. Even though Norman Powell, to your point, Ox, was always nice, but he got turned loose a little bit more this year, and you saw a different version of him. How much better of a bucket getter he was. I didn't know he was that good of a scorer, if I'm being honest with you.
Quentin Grimes this year would be an example of that.
Quentin Grimes.
I think that's a good example. More.
He got
That's what I was trying to get across, and then some people interpret it as me saying that like guys from FIBA or overseas are better than the NBA guys. That wasn't the point I was trying. It was more so within the NBA. That's the point I was trying to get across. But I do a thing where a lot of my tweets aren't exactly specific.
Yeah.
All right, so
you do that. Do you do that on purpose, Mars? Try to kind of keep it a little open-ended, a little vague.
Yeah, I leave a lot of it open to interpretation. Yeah,
great for engagement.
Yeah, but I don't have I don't get paid for my tweets because I'm not paying for Twitter. So
no, it's not even just
all for the love of the game.
Like arguing sometimes, all for
the love of the game.
The last comment of the week is from Silver Drag In. Silver Drag In sent through a super chat or a members chat or a post comment on episode 576 and said, "Today I learned the N in the NBA stands for national. But why the fuck am I getting sports channels?"
How did this become a comment of the week?
What did he think it stood for?
We all know what he thought it stood for, Mars.
I have hope. Is this like his first time comment on panel or something?
Are we taking this out of context?
So what? We just gonna kick guys out of this Caruso?
Well, Mars, to be fair, in 2000, and I remember this story vividly. In 2009, there was in Georgia, there was a group of white people who wanted to establish a fundamentalist basketball league because they didn't like all the jazz and all that stuff inside of the NBA. So they wanted to have a straight fundamental league with none of the hoopla, which you understand exactly what that means. They tried
urban. The NBA was too urban.
Yes, and they tried to start it, real talk. And I remember I had a white guy that I know, literally, real talk. I'm not kidding. This is a true story that I knew that said, "I bet you would be mad at that." Do you know what I mean? What's wrong with having like an all white league? It's like, yeah, we did, but like it's just they tried to do this. So that, to be fair, y'all joke. They have tried to make this is the NBA or the NWA NBA, as Ox just perpetuated. That some people think that, and then there's the.
Could you imagine the controversy?
The NAABA.
I feel like this though. I feel like this honestly, like this. That shit would be whack. Like, but this is America though. Like, go ahead. We don't.
But could you imagine the controversy if like a white NBA player decided to leave the NBA to go to that?
Oh, Miles Leonard's over there today. What Zach Collins is over there today.
Zach Collins is gone.
Who else is
Chet ain't going nowhere.
I'd be pissed, but TJ McConnell might be gone. Hopefully not. Hopefully he stays.
Why would TJ leave? He don't need to go nowhere. But my thing, this is the thing though. This is the thing about it though. I mean, we talked about this already before. I've told y'all already that there's certain things, analytics in the 3-point line that allow certain demographics to stay around the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like y'all getting catered to right there. Y'all got a 3-point line, y'all got analytics, y'all got basketball. I mean, you good.
So they be on Gilbert Arenas' head when he bring this stuff up like that. They be on his head.
Hold on, so
I'm just keeping it real. I told you, like they're actively trying to gentrify the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Already, they're just trying to gentrify basketball anyway.
Analytics, I can.
Well, they did.
Mars. The 3-point line was introduced to keep certain people.
It was to be fair, an NBA player said that actually at the time when it was when the 3-point line was introduced, because black players were the ones that were getting to the rim and Skywalker and all that kind of stuff, and then Bob Cousy
brought it in. Because
I believe
there was narratives around why the 3-point line is something else.
So Mars, I believe it was Columbia. I believe it was Columbia and Fordham. Columbia and Fordham, if I'm not mistaken, was the first game played with the 3-point line, and that's an Ivy League school. And I don't think Fordham's Ivy League, but it's a one of those schools. You know what I'm saying? And they were the ones I believe that started it, and yeah, I think it's clear as day, like what was going on, Mars. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
But hold on, in the NFL, Ron, they did the all-white team versus all-black team, and it was actually like a really fun exercise. Now it would be. I think it ended up being a black team because at the time Cooper DeJean had just gotten a league, so it would be Cooper DeJean, Riley Moss at corner, but then everybody else, all the great DBs would all be black, and then the pass rushers were mostly black, except for Zach Allen and them. But the quarterbacks were split. It was Mahomes, Lamar, but they had a biracial clause in there that their Polynesians could be adopted to the white side. And so they had like Hufunga, Puka Nakua.
Oh, this was recent.
This was literally it was Will.
That was like last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Will Compton.
Wow.
It was fun. Honestly, it was fun. Like, it was fun to watch him do it. But chill, Luka Doncic, Jokic, Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey, Cooper Flagg. Who else we got in there?
Franz Wagner.
Wagner, marketing. Christian Brown for defense. Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
And Walker Kessler.
Porzingis.
No, I think wait. I think Franz should get a choice. You know what I'm saying? He's not American.
Neither is Jokic and Luka.
From Germany. Sure, he's from Germany.
Well, I mean, yeah, they should be able to choose. Well, just I mean, to make it fair, I think they should definitely get Jokic and Luka. Like, y'all get Jokic and Luka. Like, just make it fair. You know what I'm saying?
European white isn't white.
Well, I'm not
No,
saying
he's
it's not American white. It's not European American. So it's just kind of like y'all get to choose. You know what I'm saying? Like Joel and Giannis, they with us. They don't get no options. You know what I'm saying? They with us. But
They know American black.
I know Mars, but I'm just making the rules, Mars. The rules don't got to be fair, Mars.
Nah, Giannis should get to
Downside to
choose.
this-
Giannis should get to choose.
The downside to this is that these guys have played.
You know
against
Joel's
black-
gonna choose.
They play
against-
what?
They played against black players. So with them playing against black players, kind of like Bird, who has made it clear a bunch of different times that, you got to put a black dude on me. So if these white dudes, eventually they'd be like, yo, we want to play where the best competition is. And they would eventually come back over. It's kind of like
Mars.
as good as white chocolate, as good as white chocolate was. I mean, he went to the other side of the tracks.
Chocolate.
This would a
Chocolate.
This where the run is. This where the ball is on. So-
Wait, chill. You on something, Mars? Who did now? Mars. Tell me if I'm tripping. Jokic struggles the most with who in the NBA?
What the European bigs?
No, just say his name. If you could do that.
Yeah.
And who did Luka really get strapped up by? Jalen Brown did an okay job. Who did Luka really get strapped by last year in the finals?
Come on,
Sam Hauser.
Housen.
So put two and two together.
Hey, and this is a fun conversation. It's lighthearted, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. But I do gotta say, like, the times coming up that I got cooked was from white boys though.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. Yep.
Like the times I can vividly remember, like, yo, that was crazy. Like I just want to go home and just relax and think about things.
Yeah, no, it's them elite
It
teams,
came from
the elite teams that you had to pay to be on, and you had to go through all the farm system and all that. Yeah, we got cooked by them every state.
Keith
every
Van
state
Horn
we
is
were
the best player that I played against in college.
in. I wouldn't be surprised.
So
He's tough.
I remember I was on the block getting sky hooked to death one time. I was like, this is fucking crazy. I'm talking. I was
that I
like,
had on- the dude I had
yo,
on my
somebody
team.
help me.
the dude I had on my team, Eric Franson, he was the Big West Player of the Year in back-to-back years. He's from Utah. So white dude from Utah.
So the first time I really ever considered, like, it was like an AAU practice though. So like the JV team, we were playing against the varsity team. The first time I ever really considered like just walking off the court was because of Ryan Anderson. Like I'm like, yo, this ain't cool, bro. Like what what are y'all
White dudes
doing?
can play. White dudes is nice as hell.
He was doing more than just shooting back then.
White guys can play. Yes,
Man,
they
Ryan,
can.
no, Ryan Anderson went to Eldorado Hills.
Wait, is there a possibility that we get?
When I tell you, Mars, Ryan Anderson, he graduated the same year as my sister. Ryan Anderson was one of them. He was not nothing to play with, bro. And he been like that though.
Is
Y'all
it
know how I
crazy?
feel about John Stockton. Y'all know how I feel about Larry Bird. White
Which
dudes
is
is nice
the three
as hell.
best players in the league? Could they be white over the next several years? If Cooper Flag gets up there?
Something has to happen.
Well,
to white
Wemby exists, so
Oh, I know. I'm saying maybe Wemby goes on the sabbatical for a year.
He a Frenchie. He could go.
Oh, he could choose.
You know what I'm saying?
y'all know, you Ox, you know how we do. If you good, we gonna claim you. Hey,
We don't
it is what it is.
We don't care.
If you good, we gonna claim you.
Hell,
Yo,
man.
Jason, what's good with you?
What's up, yo?
We got a Hall of Famer. We got Jay Grillionaire in the building. What's going on, my man? You got anything for us?
Yeah. I got a question.
We got an
Okay.
answer.
Is this is SGA's playmaking more like accurately his decision making? Is this more when he does it really good? Is that a fluke or is it him just being good? I just need to know because there are times I'm looking at SGA where, especially last game, where the decision making, his passing is just blowing me away. But other games where, especially against the zone, where he's just looking like the best playmaker on the field.
First of all, Vel, tell me what you think playmaking is.
That's
I'm not
brilliant.
Bell.
No, it's not Bell.
So,
That's not Bell.
Damn chill. Damn chill.
Hey,
What do you
chill.
think? What do you
That's
think?
the
What
guy
do
that's coming for your time slot.
you? I tell you. How about this? Watch this. Right here. Watch this right here.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, now you gotta step up. Now you, hey, You've moved up the pecking order. You gotta start taking some shots now.
All right, now we got Grill with Grill officially. We will be changing this branding. Grill, you gotta send me a selfie so I can put you down there in that bottom left corner with the little splash and all of that stuff. But Grill, I told you it was gonna happen sooner or later. We got it.
All right, hold on now. If we're gonna do it like that, with all the respect, Grill, we're gonna have to renegotiate these contracts.
Oh, you want your name in the title now?
No, I'll put your name in the title. I got you.
Gotta renegotiate. Nah, damn the title. I'm talking about the contract. You can have it.
Oh, still, you talking about the money?
It comes down to that a little bit, man.
Hey.
But
PC needs a white on show, man. Sorry, go ahead.
To answer your question, how you guys feel about that?
Inclusive.
What feel about what Mars just said? Or what?
Nah. about Grillionaire's question.
I don't know.
Am I the only one that didn't really get the question?
Well, I asked something similar on my podcast yesterday, Monster Sports, but check out. Basically, I don't know what to do with Shay's playmaking because like he's shown the ability in certain. I don't know why Alexa decided to start talking.
You and Alexa be in there having conversations, Mars?
Apparently. Yeah, what the hell? Anyway, I don't know what to do with SGA's playmaking because sometimes he shows the ability to make the right reads, like he did in game 5, for example. And then other games he just decides not to pass. So I think his question and my question was, are the good games the indicator of Shay's ability to play make? Or are the bad games the indicator of his true ability? And he's like, if a bad shooter makes 6 threes in a game, are they a good shooter or is that just an outlier? Are Shay's good playmaking games the outliers or the bad playmaking games the outliers? Which one would you lean towards?
I think the
bad ones are the outliers, man.
I think Shay sometimes goes into games and he's like, I'm gonna be very aggressive hunting like scoring in the first quarter. Like I think sometimes he doesn't like read the game. I think he just wants to dictate everything he does. And sometimes because he is a score first player, it's like, you know, I just want to get my shots off. I want to get my buckets off right now. Like I do think he can see the floor. I think he can make the passes. It's just the willingness to isn't always there. But I do think he can do it because he shows he can do it.
Is it unfair of me to say, community, that among the elite offensive players, he might be the most limited in what he can actually get to? Just because his scoring, if his scoring is a 10, let's say, or 9.5, I don't know how you weigh whatever scoring. I think among all the players that are around that, like 9, 10 scorers, I think him and Embiid are probably the most limited in terms of being able to exist outside of being an elite scorer. Like the passing, the playmaking, the leveraging, all that stuff. I think he's the worst at it. And I think the thing that Embiid has on this that works for him, he's 7'1", so he can see over people. I do think there's something to. I don't think Shai, even just from a processing standpoint, I don't think he's a great passer. He's just not that good of a passer to me, relative to the other players that are kind of in that tier. And I think to me, that's where that doesn't diminish him as a player. I just think that puts a little bit of a cap on what some things he can do if he can't get to this tier 1 skill set that he has. That's why I think a lot of the conversation about Shai is purely based on his scoring value, because he's just not like, he doesn't do the things that other players do. That I don't think, legitimately, I do not think you can guard Luka this way. I think Luka's issues are fitness, control, and his defense, and the rotations, and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of offensively, there is no like playing Luka this way and he's settling. And even like getting to the post and being effective in the post, getting in the post and getting towards the rim in the post, the step back 3-pointers, you just don't have to worry about that. Shai is a tier 1 all-time great mid-range scorer for a guard. But honestly, outside of that, I don't really know what it is that like Indiana has to be concerned with. And I think that's probably the limitations on his playmaking and why they're so loud sometimes.
Yeah,
I also think it's sometimes a lack of trust in his shooting around him too. Like to me, it's easier to pass the ball when you think your teammate's going to make the shot. I think you're more willing to do that. Yeah.
I mean, I also think he's responsible for getting his guys out of room sometimes. But I do think if you're gonna say of the elite scorers, I don't know who you put in that group.
Embiid, Yoke, Luka, SGA, and probably like next the fifth spot. I don't know. You put a name in there. There's
KD.
Kevin Wayne.
Yeah, KD.
well, I mean, KD obviously he's worse, even worse at it. You know, so I don't. Well, do you think he's more playmaker passer than Shea?
What? Can I add real quick?
honest.
How many shots did Shea shoot last night?
Well,
13,
they got out in the fourth
15,
quarter.
15, I think.
Yeah,
Shot
15.
50. Oh, so that's right. They didn't play all that long. Because I was going to ask you, Swap, because you said he only had 30 passes last night, right? And I'm
Well,
like,
no, he's averaging
For
32
the
a game.
series. I could check how many he had last night, but for the series, it's 32.
Because I'm just like, if he has the ball this long and he only passes this much, but he only shot that much, what the hell's happening to the ball? He did have a lot of turnovers last night, though.
Yeah, 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had Ox. Oh, never mind. I can't answer that. It's not didn't load up for me. Oh.
Were y'all shocked that it was a point of the game where they showed Shea's stat line? He was like 6 of 13, but it just felt like Shea had shot the ball 25
He made
times.
exactly 32 passes yesterday as well. So.
Man.
Especially in that
Right.
first half.
He what?
Did it shock y'all that he only shot the ball like 15 times? It felt like he was shooting a lot more than that.
Well, he was turning the ball over. Like I think he just couldn't shoot it because he kept giving the ball up.
Yeah.
He was trying to,
Caught
yeah.
that.
And then that late double came, and then all of a sudden the ball's no longer in his hands.
It kind of like Devin Booker a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, like just getting froze up by a double team, but it's not. I don't know.
It was a less. Devin Booker was struggling with telegraph double teams, but Shea just has to be able to. Shea puts himself in positions where sometimes he makes himself susceptible to double teams, and that's because he drives without much of a plan sometimes. So I think he's going to be better in Game 7. I do think I think Game 7 will probably be another one of those Shea games where he decides he does want to pass the ball.
He better be.
I'm expecting.
If it's not, I probably got Indiana winning for what it's worth.
Why should he pass though? It's Game 7. Think about that. If it's tight, no, I'm being honest. If it's tight and it's a really close game and they're not just running away with it because of transition defense, he might have to just put him up. So I think but that's why I'm saying the Patriots, if you just don't turn the damn ball over, then you're putting yourself in an advantageous situation consistently.
They do play better offense. Like if they just take care of the ball and play how they normally play offensively, they do generate good looks. And
but OKC's defense also was just trash last night. Like they didn't play the defense they've been playing in like Game 5, the fourth quarter of Game 4. They didn't play that type of defense. So if OKC do ramp up the pressure and the intensity on defense, they should be able to force turnovers, and that should open some things up. But if they come out with this sort of effort, I got the Pacers winning. Like if they play like this, I got the Pacers winning. If they play like that,
this was an aspect of Game 7 that I was talking about later on in my stream was Game 7s are usually officiated like we're going to stay out the way and let the players determine that, and usually, and so especially in the finals. So in that case, I think that can hurt Shea scoring wise. However, if you let Lou Dort and Alex Caruso and them be the 2000s Ravens or the Legion of Boom, I do think they beat.
Wait, you said Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor?
Yeah. Lou Dort be all
They have
over.
no Bobby Wagner over there.
Okay.
I'm so excited for this Game 7, man.
Yeah.
When you have no like horse in the race in terms of like who wins, you're just a neutral.
Game
Game 7s in the finals are amazing.
None of us up here have a horse in this race.
No, Ron believes he has an investment. So other than Ron, but this is stress free. This is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Real talk. Who do you like? I said, y'all. I think it's clear, Mars. I think the best story would be Indiana winning. The best story.
For sure.
You're telling me you beat 2 64-win teams, and nobody picked you coming into the playoffs, including your favorite fan of all time, and Ron. No, literally nobody saw this coming. you're able to take down an all-time great team, and honestly, you do it as the 4 seed. I mean, this would be like I said, y'all, this would be right behind 2011 for me since 2000. I would not have felt this way about a championship other than that championship in terms of like the mystique of the run. I will remember this one forever if they win this. I mean, I will now.
And then not to mention all of the memorable moments, all the game winners, the Neesmith at the end of the game against the Knicks, getting like the crazy shots off, all the comebacks that they like. This has been a magical.
I need a Holly Game 7 game winner, man.
A Holly Game 7 winner. I would have to delete every app.
I need it. You do that. That'll be what, five game winners in the postseason?
Yep. Five go ahead buzzer.
Well, the one against the Knicks was the tie. So, but like pretty much 5.
Yeah.
Pretty much 5. Like, damn, that's gonna be like the all-time clutchest like shot making run ever by like a significant margin. And the Pacers will be like the greatest clutch playoff team I've ever seen. They blew game 4 against OKC, but like other than that, like clutch time, you pretty much know the Pacers are gonna win. Game 7, if it's a close game, it's a 1 possession, 2 possession game. In game 7, I think you just gotta have the Pacers at that point. Like, it's hard to bet against this team.
Yo, Grill, who you got?
Oh, I got winning.
Yeah,
it's all depending on. I think that this has been like one of my favorite players to watch since he came back off injury. But Chet. I think it depends on Chet. I think this whole game 7 depends on Chet. I think it depends on if he's actually going to be a player on the Thunder or not.
So Indiana's winning game 7. I bet.
So, because Chet, to me, looking like back then as a prospect, to me, I thought he was going to be like, I saw the defense was there and defensive floor was always there for me. But it was more of the offense game. I thought he was going to be way, I'll say, polished than I'm seeing right now. Like right now, he looks clunky. Not that he doesn't know where to go. He's getting beat everything he wants to go. Every time he wants to try to get a shot off, it's too slow. Looks indecisive.
Inexperience.
I agree. I think one of the main things that gets overlooked, especially for stretch 5s, and what makes them actually like real shooters and real viable outside shooting threats, is the speed of their release. Like, to me, there's a difference between Chet and Brook Lopez and the fact that Miles Turner can just get a jumper. I know he's not hitting him right now. Or Kristaps Porzingis, who can actually just catch the ball and shoot it. Because when you have such a slow release, it allows you to kind of hang around the ball handler in those pick and pop situations, because you know you can still kind of get out there, because he's finna take all day to load up his jump shot. And that's what like Miles has been doing a couple of times, because Chet take all day to shoot the ball, bro. Damn.
You can't have a slow release and a low release point. Like, you have to pick a struggle. Like, you can't have both. And especially when you 7-1, like, the advantage is meant to be your ability to shoot over people. So, like, it was even worse last year. Like, his release is faster now than it was a year ago, but it's still slow. So, like, he has to either work on raising his release point or speeding up the release. Preferably both. But, like, you can't be 7-1 and be this easy to contest. Like, that's not meant.
Part of it's him being nervous, or part of it's him not knowing what to do at first.
And part of it is his shot mechanics are flawed for the NBA.
Okay.
I don't think he's really been hesitant on his threes for the most part. I think he's been willing to shoot him. I just think he takes too long to shoot. It's just a flaw fundamentally within his mechanics. And then the other stuff, like the ability off the dribble, that's just not come around to the level that maybe it was projected to when he got drafted. And that's a concern. And then obviously the strength and all of that stuff. Defensively, I think Chet's been fine. But offensively, it's just been terrible. Besides like one game. I can't remember what game it was. It might have been game 5, actually. But besides that one game, Chet's just been bad offensively all the way around. So if you're saying it depends on Chet, Indiana in 7.
I think it depends on Chet, because I don't know if you can count on JDub to make that 40 point. He's gonna be a 40-point game somewhere like around that level of impact, like he did. Because that 26-point game, I think he had what was it? In game 4, 5, somewhere around that. Wherever Indiana went up 2-1, I believe. It didn't even feel like a 26-point game. It felt like a game where he played well, but it felt like not much happened.
Yeah, I mean, JDub has to be good. Shea has to be good. I just feel like relying on Chet, game 7, everything on the line with what he's done offensively in the series. It's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. But
I do want to ask y'all, because now we are at a game 7, and because Shea was god awful last game, like JDub, like he got real action at Finals MVP now. If he outplays Shea in game 7, I think he gets it.
he'd have to
Like at
outplay
first,
him.
it was like a cool little, oh, JDub Finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, but now I do think like if he outplays Shea in game 7, he'll get the award.
I think it would have to be he outplays him by a significant margin.
Yeah.
If
JDub
he's like,
could've-
JDub was their best player slightly, I don't think he'd get it. But
JDub couldn't afford to only have 16 points last night. And by the way, he outplayed Shea in that first half too. Definitely.
He did.
But if he would have scored like 21, 22 maybe, I think he would really have it.
I think I said JDub was JDub was a negative 40. I think that's the worst
Yeah,
plus minus in a finals
I
game.
saw that narrative going around, but
It's not a narrative, it's just the stats.
he was.
What he do?
Yeah,
What,
It was.
he wasn't worse than Shea to me though yesterday.
He was balling.
He wasn't worse than Shade. He wasn't worse than Shade to me either. But single game plus minus is a flawed stat
Yeah,
in terms of the way people use it. But yeah, I think as long as Shea doesn't play terribly in game 7, if OKC win, I think he'll be the finals MVP. And I don't think there's anything that can happen that leads to Pascal not being the finals MVP for Indiana. Unless TJ like goes crazy in game 7 and they just like, here you go, TJ. But I expect it to be between Shea and Pascal, personally. And I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it.
Thoughts, predictions. Who you guys all got? I know Jason said that it's contingent on Chet for him, but who you guys got winning game 7?
that's so tough.
I'm going back and forth on it, Ron. So I need to just go ahead and just stand on the take, and I'm gonna go with the Pacers. I'm gonna go with the Pacers. I said I know I said OKC earlier. I've been going back and forth. I'm gonna go with the Pacers. Last night showed me last night looked like pure dominance. It's just what it looked like. It looked like OKC. They don't got their heart in it no more. I think TJ McConnell might have took the heart out of this one for him. You know? I'm rocking with TJ.
Ox, there's a take that you've been saying in this playoffs that I didn't want to agree with because I don't want to do anything that brings Swiper glee or joy. But the Nuggets would have beat OKC if Aaron Gordon was. I think you're right.
For sure, the Nuggets are a better team. I know Swiper doesn't want to admit it.
Watch out.
The Nuggets are just a better basketball team than OKC.
I don't know why. Real talk. You pretend if we weren't friends. I also think if they weren't hurt 3 of 6 of their rotation players, they would have won the series. But I want to say it like this, man. Now, Mars, as many of you saw, I already picked Shea to win Finals MVP, so I don't feel like I can go. And to be fair, I was busy last night, so I literally couldn't. I thought they were going to win, and I thought Hallie wasn't going to be anything. So I got to stand on my pick. I'm picking OKC to win the 7. Shea wins Finals MVP, completes the sweep of all of the 4 most important awards in basketball: MVP, Finals MVP, Conference Finals MVP, scoring champ, all in one season. So I'm.
You said those are the important awards, Swiper?
All
No,
of them.
they're all weighed the same.
Well, no respect.
What about DPOY? He didn't get that.
Yeah, but we don't care about defense and NBA 20.
I feel like it's been swept under the rug, but Evan Mobley is a defensive player of the year. Like, I feel like I don't even know if we really spoke about that. But shout out to Evan Mobley.
Well, we did. It's just it was
because it's the wrong defensive player of the year. That's why.
Who should have been?
Yeah, I mean, a nice
JDub was so clearly the defensive player of the year this year. I don't understand.
Well, Evan Mobley was anchoring the 10th best.
I don't know. JDub, look, JDub was the best defensive player on arguably the best defensive team ever in most people's opinion. And then a lot of people will say, well, Chet's the best defensive player. He missed 50 games. Well, Alex Caruso may be the best. He missed like damn near 30. Only played like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. JDub was the best defensive player. He was very good in isolation. He was one of the best rim protectors in the league, period. Not just wings, just in the league. He should have been defensive player of the year. Best defender on best defensive team. But I don't think he got the credit because a lot of people look at the team.
Because he's not the best defender on the best defensive team.
But why do you? Why does that work in MVP?
That's why. Lou Dort is a better defender than him.
Lou Dort.
Lou Dort is a better defender than him.
I don't know, yo.
Lou Dort's their best defender.
Yo, do you guys remember?
I think it's Chet.
Who was guarding it? Who was guarding centers and stuff like that? Like Lou Dort don't got that same versatility.
I think JDub was their best defender during the regular season, but I think Chet's their best.
Yeah, this regular season, JDub.
I'm with you on the awards. So I'm just saying, I don't think he's their best defender, but this year in the regular season, I think he was their best defender. Like I'm with you on that. I think he was, but he made second team all defense. So
yeah, but now I will say to Mars's point, defensive awards, and in particular the all defense teams, are probably the worst voted team of any list. Maybe rookies too. These people don't watch defense like that. Like, there's just no way for me, JDub.
That's my guy Donovan Klinger not making an all rookie team. Oh, he did, but he didn't.
Wait, Swiper. You think that he should have got it too?
First team?
I thought you said that you thought.
No, I think he should have been first.
Did JDub have a better defensive season than Amen Thompson?
Amen Thompson was my DPOY.
Yeah, I think given the context of the teams they were on, it's arguable. I think Amen's the better defensive playmaker. JDub, as I've already said, I think is a better traditional defender than almost anybody in the league.
Man, Keon Ellis is a better defender than JDub.
Okay.
Man, I'm sorry.
Again,
I don't agree with that. But yeah, Amen Thompson was my DPOY, but JDub was also on my first team. I think JDub was amazing.
Sorry, I got to tell the truth, y'all. I apologize.
That's not the truth, though, Ox. He's not a better defender than JDub. No, he isn't.
I do think Evan Mobley was given it because they couldn't give him like
Lou Dort and Alex Caruso just be saving these dudes and y'all act like it's
I just want to get some clarity. Did JDub have a better defensive season than Dyson Daniels?
Oh yeah, I think so. I don't think that's particularly close, but like.
So like you think it's a gap between this season?
I'm very comfortable taking JDub. I'm very comfortable.
Wow. No. We're not talking about better defender. We're talking about having a better defensive season.
Better defensive season.
I think
again defensive
playmaker. Close.
Defensive playmaker.
I said I don't think it's particularly close. I'm very
what did JDub do more than what Dyson Daniels did?
Elite rim protector and better on-ball defender, mind you, including a better
on-ball defender.
Yeah, again, defensive playmaking is Dyson. He was the best defensive playmaker in the sport. Yes, I agree with you. But on-ball traditional defense, JDub is a better defender.
Okay, so that goes back to being a better defender on the basketball. Defensive playmaking. So did JDub as a defensive playmaker, was he more impactful than what Dyson Daniels did this season?
Dyson was the most impactful defensive playmaker in the league. This side like Wemby, but obviously he got hurt. But Dyson do be just ripping people, to be fair. Like on the ball, Dyson just
sounds like blowing up plays to me.
Yeah, Dyson's an amazing defender. Dyson is an amazing defender, justified being on the all defensive team.
Yep.
But I said it when he was announced as a top 3 candidate. I didn't agree with that. I don't think Dyson was one of the 3 best defenders in the league this year. Like for me, the top 3 would have been some assortment of. Actually, I don't know who the top 3 would be, but I know I had JDub, Amen, Draymond, Mobley, and who else was my 5th first team member? It was someone, but it wasn't Dyson. I know it wasn't Dyson. Like
Zubac also was another better defender than him.
Was it Dunn?
Well, Dunn was also
didn't play enough games. I know that's why I didn't have him.
Better defender than Dyson Daniels this season?
Chris Dunn is a better defender than Dyson Daniels, in my opinion.
Again, it's the play. That's what I'm saying. We don't reward playmaking the same though in the defense. We
don't because
we never have though.
When I
had Rudy Gobert on my all defense first team.
I did have him making all the. I did have him making the all league defensive team. I didn't have him making first team though. But
that's my first team. So
when I think
Mobley, Amen, Rudy, and then JDub.
What about Triple J for the season?
I had him on my second team because I think the defense the later part of the season regressed. So my second team was Dyson, Lou Dort, Zubac, Triple J, and Bam. And unfortunately, Tamani just didn't make the cut for me. But he was like my first guy.
So the way that
the Bam snub.
I can appreciate JDub's versatility, and especially when Mark Dagnall went to that small ball lineup, and he had JDub playing the 5.
And he's an elite rim protector.
Yeah,
he's an elite on-ball defender.
He had JDub playing the 5.
He's a great, very good screen navigator, especially for his size.
And so is Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, but I think the issue is when you're a gambler, though, it's the same thing in cornerbacks. Chill, you love football.
Dyson Daniels is a bad screen navigator, but
yeah, like when you're playing
cornerback.
cornerback.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Swiper.
Well, I'm just saying, Chill. When you play cornerback in the league, like you can be like, remember, Deron
just because the interception leader is leading the league in interception, that does not
that don't mean the best corner.
Yeah, like Deron Bland. I think did he have six INT returns 2 years ago? I think he might have had with the Cowboys. He made
what about the kid
pro.
that played? Alabama. What's his name? He went to Alabama, played for the Cowboys.
Diggs.
Yeah,
Diggs can't cover nobody.
But that's what I'm saying. But they're defensive playmakers, but they get beat. Like that's like Champ Bailey didn't make the same amount of picks
like that though.
And that's where I'm at with it, Ron.
No, but
that's exactly where I'm at.
If you're weighing him towards Dort in them, he does though, relative to those players, relative to JDub. Sure. He doesn't do the things about staying in front of you, the rim protection, all that stuff as good as JDub does.
I disagree with that. Swipe.
Which part? He's not even close to the rim protection.
Okay, let's take.
He's objectively not.
Swiper, I'll give you the. Let me give you the rim protection. Let's just say for the sake of argument, I'll give you the rim protection,
which is paint, which is just paint protection, by the way. So
sure, and I also have other guys who paint protect and rim protect also, right? But with that also being said, we live in a heavy guard league, right? We live in a heavy perimeter league, and living in a heavy perimeter league, we got a lot of action off the ball, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of pick and dive, and I got to get through screens. So before we even get to that stuff, Dyson Daniels is blowing that up.
He doesn't blow up screens though either.
Is doing that. He's blowing that up with deflections. He's blowing that up with steals. He's blowing that up with just being on ball, tipping the basketball, blowing those plays up. And as an on-ball defender, he definitely beats guys to spots.
Next year, we got to start watching more playback, Chill, because I just don't be understanding.
I think Dyson's an elite isolation defender. The screen navigation.
That's where I'm at with him.
I think he's an amazing isolation defender.
How can you say that the screen navigation? Because he beats you to the screen and blows the play up. Deflections, steals. That's a big deal when you're talking about screens.
Yeah, but you're comparing him to Dub and Dort and them. That was the conversation. I'm saying
Dort, I can get with that.
Lou Dort's a better on-ball defender than Dyson.
Definitely getting with that. But JDub,
I think Dyson's a better on-ball defender than JDub because I think the isolation stuff, like he's just comfortably better. The screen navigation stuff, I'm not like Lou Dort would be above him for that. For me, Chris Dunn would be like way above him in that.
Does Chris Dunn play enough for you, Mars, or no?
Well, he did. He wasn't on my old defensive team because he just didn't make the cutoff. But I think Chris Dunn's just a better defender. But like in terms of ball screen, like in terms of just being like a screen navigator, like Dyson's just lower down that list for me. But the isolation stuff is what's extremely valuable, and then the defensive playmaking stuff is extremely valuable. When you have both of those things, when you're the best in the league as a defensive playmaker, and you might be the best in the league defending in isolation, him or Lou Dort for me, maybe Chris Dunn, but probably those two. Like that is enough for you to make my all defensive team.
This is JDub? This is JDub? You think he's the best?
Dyson. When you're those two things, because isolation defense is extremely valuable, and then being a defensive playmaker is extremely valuable. Being the best in the league at two extremely valuable facets of defense is enough to get you on the all defensive team, in my opinion.
Sure.
But when you don't provide any rim protection, when you aren't a very good screen navigator in a league that uses screens as much as the NBA does right now.
Yeah.
And I still think your off-ball stuff in terms of when you aren't getting steals, you end up overplaying, you end up gambling. Sometimes he's overhelping, giving out open threes. All of those things add up to take away from some of his value, which is why I had him on my all-defensive second team. Yep. JDub, in my opinion, elite as a rim protector, regardless of position, not just for a wing, period. Elite as a rim protector, able to guard in isolation, better screen navigator, still really good in the gaps, really good at the nail, really good defensive playmaker, not to the Dyson Daniels level. But when you have that level of versatility to where you might be the most versatile defender in the league, on a defense that had you fluctuating between so many roles that was so impactful and so good this year, I think that's what gets you above Dyson Daniels to me on the all defensive teams. Now, once again, I didn't have JDub as my defensive player of the year like Roto.
Sure.
But JDub is a monster on defense. I had him above Lou Dort, for example. But I had Lou Dort on my second team.
And I feel like you made some really valid points, Mars. I'm thinking about as a defender, I don't think about a reactionary defender. I think about an action defender. And I feel like reaction defenders are very easy to hunt because you're not thinking about a step or two ahead. And that's why I feel like with Dyson Daniels, he's an action defender. He sees what you're trying to get into before you try to get into it. And I can't leave out that being 6'8", close to 6'9", that's a big deal because that does put you in a situation where
who's 6'8", nearly 6'9".
how big is that? How big is
Dyson's
that's
at
Dub.
6'8".
That's more.
Yeah,
That's more
I think
Dub.
like
Dyson's
Isn't he listed
at
at 6'8"?
Dyson's at
6'8"?
He's
Dyson's
6'7", 6'8".
Dyson's
Yeah, he's listed at 6'8", right? So 6'9",
6'9",
might
I
be,
know is not.
yeah,
correct.
6'9" might be a stretch. Okay, I apologize. So 6'8". So when I'm 6'8", my ability to also be versatile, my ability to also beat guys to spots, my ability to play on the perimeter against smaller guys and blow up your offense, which is very perimeter oriented. I feel like that leaves that leaves less doubt for me looking at defenders than it does with a guy like JDub, who, as good as JDub is, and he's got a lot of other guys to protect him, because let's be clear about one thing. Evan Mobley needed to be protected. Wemby needs to be protected too. It's not like these guys are just out there and there's no protection for them too, and they're doing all the protecting. No, JDub also has some protection. There was none of that with Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels was a guy. There was none of that with Dyson Daniels.
In fact, Phil, who is he protecting?
He was protecting Trae Young, as a matter of
Who
fact.
a lot of you guys would say is
one of the
worst defender in the league.
Yes,
You know,
he
like,
protected Trae Young, and a lot. When I think about his defensive versatility, like you just talked about with JDub, when I think about his defensive versatility, his ability to stop plays, not just on the perimeter, but
It's
also
not versatility though. He only guards for the most part. Like he's
well,
not like
it is versatility when I'm able to guard a guard. I'm able to guard a two guard. I'm able to guard a small forward that plays on the perimeter.
I said guards though for a reason.
Okay,
I don't
well,
think he's like a
but he doesn't
guard.
only guard guard. That's not true.
That's
not true.
But not as well as JDub. That is the question. That was the original premise. He's not a better wing defender. He's not a better wing defender than JDub.
Disagree with that.
What are you disagreeing with? He's not a better wing defender than JDub is.
Just because he's not asked to do that doesn't mean that he can't do that.
The
only reason
he also is asked to do
JDub
that.
guarding centers is because they didn't have a center. Like and also too, I just want to point out the most obvious thing in this whole conversation. What number one assignment is JDub taking? They got to go through Casey Wallace first, or they got to go through Lou Dort first, and then it goes to J.
And then when Alex Caruso comes on the floor, Alex Caruso takes.
Okay, but then they go to Dyson.
So
they go to Dyson Daniels, and then the defense with. So for you, are you saying the reason why Atlanta's defense was mid to bad, even with Dyson, was because of personnel?
They don't. If you flip flop him and JDub, their defense doesn't improve. They don't just all of a sudden become a top 10 defense. And the reason being
top 10.
Because,
yeah, I mean, I don't think anything.
Well, Caruso did it, to be fair.
17.
This side of Wemby, I don't know if you're getting.
But to be fair,
10.
Caruso did do that though.
Yeah,
Ron.
but Caruso is a rare case.
I know. I'm just saying.
And
like
so,
that.
with that being said, which one of these guys is playing with Caruso?
JDub is.
Okay, which one of these guys?
That's why Roto brought the point of Caruso missing all those games. And Hartenstein missing games.
I think he missed almost 30 games this
season. Even then, though, they didn't all miss him together. He still had an assortment of defenders with him. Casey Wallace was there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is the best defensive 1 through 7, 8.
I mean,
So that's the only point I'm making is it's like if you got all these defensive studs around you, it's gonna be a little easier to play defense.
But that doesn't. So we don't typically award DPOYs for players that are not elite defenses, though. So I'm saying that like, cause it's the point of it is you can point out what you're doing on the floor that's reflected within the team measurement. Like Rudy 21, for instance, that was a defensive year where they were a horrible defense without him, but they were the number one defense in the NBA with him. So like for you, that's more a function of role. Like a paint protector anchor has more value defensively than any other player in the league. So therefore, the reflection of being the best defense in the sport when you're on the floor is more about the position you play. Is that how you would quantify that, Ron?
I suppose you could say it that way, but
or is he just that much better of a defender than Dyson Daniels?
Well, you
remember he didn't have a defender on his roster either.
You talk about Rudy?
Rudy in 21.
I mean, yeah, it's just it kind of just goes into the role. Like I'm anchoring a defense, you know, and I guess you could say just because JDub did it this year, he was a better anchor than Dyson Daniels because he did it for, you know, a nice stretch of time.
Well, he did have an impressive personnel around him, but I guess what I'm speaking to is like there are players that regardless of situation, the defense is still elite to very good with them. I'm saying. So I'm saying that maybe
JDub one of those players?
I think if you
Well, we haven't seen him outside of OKC, so that's
yeah,
hard.
it's only
to
year 3
say.
too.
Well, I'm
Ron, I was gonna ask
asking
you
though. I'm projecting. Do you like if you once again, let's just switch the roles. If you drop him in Atlanta, do they become a better defensive team?
Don't even drop him in Atlanta. How about just let's take him off Oklahoma City? What do they look like as a defense?
I mean, they're still an elite defensive team. That
Right now, take
Worse than the second best defense now.
right. So take Dyson Daniels off Atlanta. What do they look like as a defense?
they're still a
Well,
bad.
Jalen Johnson
I
there?
mean, weren't they a bad defense?
I think they were
Yeah.
17 in the league. I think they go to the bottom of the league without him.
Well,
They
no,
go
I
to the
don't think he
bottom
makes
of the
that
league
much of a
without-
difference. Like, I don't think he makes that much of a difference for them.
100% he made that much of a
No, I'm
difference.
saying I think actually like I'll look it up for you now.
That's
I don't
why he
know if
was
he
in the
makes
top
that much.
I ain't
of a
gonna lie.
difference.
I mean, they may fall off the face of the earth, but to me, that's a flawed argument because what it does is it does penalize JDub for having good defensive personnel, and then it awards Dyson because
I feel like it's the opposite of the MVP awards. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I said earlier.
It's like because
That's exactly what I said earlier about MVP.
if you do remove the only good POA off of Atlanta, then and then the rest of the personnel is already shaky to begin with, then yeah, they probably do. They might fall off the face of the earth. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
But that still doesn't mean he's a better defender than JDub.
But real talk, because you to go to that point and then extrapolate what Mars just said and bring up my point, Chill. You made that argument for SGA winning MVP, 68 win team, leading the NBA in scoring.
If there's anybody that had that impact.
But when it came to
more.
Joker, you said the reason Joker, as opposed to SGA, shouldn't win, even with better numbers or a more impressive season, is having more impact on winning on the basis of the wins. So I'm saying, why is that not the same thing defensively? That if you're the best defender in the sport, you should have more impact on how well your defense plays when you're on the court. Because that would be the same argument for the MVP.
I feel like Dyson Daniels, relative to what he was dealing with, he had more impact on winning than what JDub did. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to take away from the fact that JDub was on a damn good defensive team. And his impact on them winning had a lot to do, him being on the floor had a lot to do with them winning. But I feel like relative to what Dyson Daniels had to work with, what he had to deal with on a night-to-night basis, him being the POA defender, not only him being the POA defender, him having to take the assignment on the perimeter. That was his job.
So just for context, Chill, they had a 116.19 defensive rating with him on, and then a 116.39 with him off. So I'm doing the same thing we did the MVP stuff.
So what did Oklahoma City have with JDub on the floor and with him off the floor?
Yeah, let's look it up.
Considering, and the reason why I'm asking that is because with these two players, with JDub being on that defense, and what I don't want to do, Miles, I don't want to penalize JDub for being on a damn good defensive team. That's part of it, right? You make my job a lot less difficult when I'm playing with a bunch of really good players.
109 with, 107 without. But that's where the crucial boost comes in.
So both defenses statistically are better without them on the
No,
floor.
they're Atlanta's slightly worse. Thunder 2 points better because Caruso comes in the game. So
is that filtered out?
So I have somebody.
Well, I didn't do that because that would take way longer. So I can do it though.
That's interesting, Swipe, because again, I have somebody behind me to supplement when I'm off the floor, and not just me. That's in addition to what we already have. When Dyson Daniels comes off the floor, I don't have anybody to supplement what I do. And again, I take the assignment night in and night out.
DeAndre Hunter eraser. That's what I'm hearing.
One more time.
DeAndre Hunter was on that team. Just to be clear,
Me and Mars are at odds because I do think that Dyson Daniels is a good screen navigator. Like I told you before, I wasn't paying much attention to this kid because I was wrapped up in Herb Jones. But I started paying more attention to him this season, and I was watching how he blew up plays, very much like what Alex Caruso was doing in Oklahoma City. And I just think that he was one of the best perimeter defenders just on ball and screen navigators in the game. I love everything about Dyson Daniels. But real talk, I want to make sure that we don't get away from the point here. Evan Mobley was the best defensive player in the game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
Wemby
Wemby,
was the best
but
defensive player in the game this year.
He had to
I
get
said that in
stopped.
September. I said that even when Wemby was healthy, even when Chet was healthy, we went over our defensive player of the year. I said Evan Mobley was going to win defensive player of the year. Now, it may be by default because Wemby got hurt, sure, and it may be by default because Chet wasn't playing. But Evan Mobley was fantastic.
But why was he a better defender than Zubac last year based on all the things
I think Mobley was great up until about January. From January to the end of the season, Cleveland's defense just fell.
I thought it got tricky around the middle of March.
Right? I might have been overstating January. I can't remember. There was
a little tricky. right around that West Coast trip when they dropped 4 straight, that's when it got tricky.
Them as a team.
I might
got
have been
tricky,
reaching
not
with
just
January, but that was a
Evan Mobley.
turning
It
point
was-
mid-season.
That's where it got tricky for me. Like right around that West Coast road trip when they dropped 4 straight and they were just getting torched. They were just getting torched by everybody.
Chill, I do agree that I think Evan Mobley now has taken the spot of AD, and I've always been very, very high on AD because I think this is kind of how I've measured him.
Yep.
He's taken the spot of AD as far as the best rim protector who can stay in front of some perimeter players.
Yep.
Like to me, that used to be Anthony Davis. I think
Excuse
Anthony
me?
Davis has kind of lost a step on the
What
perimeter.
part of that are you
and I
confused
think,
about, Ox? I mean, being Swiper. The
He said
best
he-
rim protector who can stay in front of some perimeter players. That's what he just said. What part of that are you confused about?
Well, some can you filter some out because Rudy can stand in front of some.
Rudy
I
can't
think-
stand in front of
Rudy
I-
Gobert is
yeah, I
not
think-
as
stand
good
in front
on the
of as
perimeter
many
as Evan Mobley.
You said some.
But Evan Mobley's not as good defending the rim as Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, but
But Moss?
I'm saying
No,
Ever-
at all.
ever in his
No,
life.
no,
Yeah,
no.
no. I think that, but I think Evan Mobley is an elite rim protector,
Yes,
and
he
then
is.
on top of that, I gauge it closer at
Hey.
the rim than on the perimeter.
Hey,
Well,
I
I think
my answer to
Evan
that would be-
crosses a threshold that's good enough at the rim, and then he's also very slight of foot. Like Evan Mobley is very good on his
Hey,
feet first.
Mars.
I agree, but
my
my
DPOY had a 5-point difference, 109 with 114 without.
was that Zoo.
Zoo, shout out Zoo.
He was on my
Ron, I
offense.
wanted to ask you just one question too
What's
about
up?
that because you were talking about like he's not taking the number one assignment, but I know this isn't an apples to apples comparison. But how do you feel about like the Draymond Green DPOYs when that was another player that was king of versatility, but Andre Iguodala was taking a lot of the one-on-one matchups. Klay Thompson was taking a lot of the one-on-one matchups. Now Draymond would go out there from time to time, just like JDub does. But Draymond was getting those defensive players of the year. So like, how do you feel about those DPOYs?
I mean, I agree with them. So I think Draymond should have maybe got another DPOY or two.
I
But
agree.
it's just
Which year, Moss?
The one he took from
20
Kawhi.
the one that Kawhi won in 16. I think that should have been Draymond.
Leonard was
I
awesome.
think Draymond should have won 2. I think he should have won 16 and 17.
Hasn't been one single day. Well, until recently. Until maybe 2022. There hasn't been one day that Draymond Green was a better defender than Kawhi Leonard.
I disagree.
Well, I mean that goes to what Real Talk's saying though. Like it's Draymond's ability to play quarterback on defense, middle linebacker, if you will, and really anchor everything, and still be able to take on those defensive assignments. Not he doesn't as regularly as Andre Iguodala did, or Klay Thompson, or whoever else. But Draymond literally did everything on the back line for that defense, and like his impact also was a major reason why. Once again, they were always one of the better defenses in the NBA. And I mean, you can't necessarily compare that directly to JDub because JDub doesn't necessarily have weak points on the defense. Where with the Warriors, you've seen their weak points. Steph Curry, they have to cover up for him and things like that. But then also
cover
too,
for Shea.
It's
Not
not
to
like
the same
that.
degree,
though.
but they have to cover
Yeah.
for Shea. I think the playoffs have shown you do have to cover for Shea. It's just not the same.
But then also too with Draymond, one thing that we seen, which J-Dub did show that this season, not the Draymond levels, but we seen Draymond scale up and lock up centers, guard centers, and then scale down and take power forwards and small forwards and stuff like that. So I mean that's the thing with Draymond.
I think everything you guys are saying, this is why Amen Thompson was my DPOY, because I think he has the case that you guys have made for Dyson and the case that you guys made for JDub. He has the versatility that JDub has. He's able to protect the rim. He's able to guard multiple positions. I've watched him guard Evan Mobley, the actual DPOY. I watched him guard Evan Mobley straight up with no help. I watched him do that. I watched him guard
And got a
legitimate
block
center.
on him.
Amazing block.
Stood him up and got a
I've
block.
watched him guard legitimate bigs, but he's also Houston's point of attack guy. So he is the guy who's taking the assignment like Dyson Daniels does for Atlanta, except Houston are a top 5 defense in the NBA. But he's also able to protect the rim like a guy like J-Dub, and he's holding opponents. I think the number was like he's that 10% below expected at the rim. Now, obviously, I think it goes beyond the numbers with Amen Thompson's rim protection. He's also an elite transition defender, and he's a great defensive playmaker. Like I feel like Amen Thompson had the argument that Dyson has in terms of the on-ball stuff, and he doesn't have the same defensive personnel around him that OKC have. but he also has the JDub argument in terms of the versatility. That's why I meant Thompson was my DPOY, because I think he checks every single box.
Which is
Like,
fair, Mars. So
yeah.
wouldn't the quote unquote narrative come into it? Because in January was Draymond Green in the defensive player of the year conversation?
No.
But there was no conversation because it was Wemby. Like,
Right.
There was no conversation.
Right. And then when Wemby goes down, but then February comes around. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about narrative stuff. So to everything that you just said about Amen Thompson, then we have to talk about narratives. Then we have to talk about how the public feels about a guy. Because as good as Dyson Daniels was, and I know we talk about, you know, being the steals leader, sometimes that can be somewhat of a negative because guys like Steph Curry led the league in steals, Magic led the league in steals, James Harden. So it might look a little bit tricky.
Yeah, Dyson ain't them.
No, he's not. But the fact that the fact that he led the league in steals, some people might look at that in a different way. But the fact that he played the defense that he played, not just on the ball, but off the ball too, the narrative was how good he is as a perimeter defender. He might be the best perimeter defender in the game. Houston is becoming something of a juggernaut. Atlanta has Trae Young. They're in the spotlight. They should be a playoff team this year. They got this Dyson Daniels kid, as opposed to Houston, who was at the bottom of the league 2 years ago. Amen Thompson isn't where we think he should be yet, even though he is. He's a lot closer than people think, a lot closer than people give him credit for. But the narrative on him and the attention on him isn't there yet. Even though he very well has a case to be defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I think the narrative was strongly on Dyson's side. I mean, when you do like the steals stats he was putting up, like you do something historic is going to help you. I don't think Amen has that. I don't think JDub had that. So that definitely helped. I think Dyson ended up coming second, right?
It was Mobley. Yes, it was Mobley, Dyson, and Draymond.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out to him. Like, my predictions tend to stay away from the narrative stuff, which is I guess why I had Dyson in the second team.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why Dyson came second. I understand why Dyson could have won it. Just, I would have disagreed with the pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. We got super chat, so let's go ahead and talk to them and see what the people got to say. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Make sure you like the video, turn on those notification bells, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and ultimately be a GOAT like my man Grillionaire next to me and become a Hall of Fame. All right, the first super chat I got is from Hunter. Hunter said, I'm rooting for the OKC meltdown in Game 7. I'm trying to see Twitter burn. Pascal clears.
I'm just rooting for a good game, man.
We got another super chat from Simon718. Shout out to Simon. Simon been big on these super chats lately. He said, Dub Mars, Dub Ron, Dub Ox, Dub Swiper, Dub Chill and Real Talk, maybe. But he also said, FGA 8 turnovers and JDub -40 is nasty work. Tricky Ricky coaching his ass off. Chet has been brutal this entire series. TJ is greater than Hallie. Siakam mid-range is so nice to watch. Pacers ran the basketball over OKC.
I do prefer watching the Pacers play to OKC. Very, very entertaining.
Hey, I saw Kev on stage and tweeted just want to say OKC play do that nigga cut offense, and they really do. It really just be like SCA, bing, 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 bing. JDub, bing, 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 bing. See what you can do.
Yeah, when I watched them bring in Aaron Wiggins and let Aaron Wiggins go straight to ISOs, I was like,
yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
Kent Lipscomb Jungler sent through a super chat and said, Mars and Ox, if 05 Ginobili was on the Pacers instead of Hallie, Pacers in 5. Also, Tim Duncan top 5, Win VP and Castle, all team defense, uploading. Love the pod, Swiper. Colorado, stand up.
Mars, you want this?
Mono on this team?
I would very much enjoy watching 05 Ginobili on this Pacers team. Based on how this series has gone, I'm inclined to believe they could have won this series by now. If they
he'd be a better scorer for sure.
If they had 05 Ginobili, I'm inclined to believe they would have won this series.
Can you understand that real talk? Ginobili would be a better scorer pretty convincingly. Yet Chris Paul and Steve Nash would make this team worse at the same time.
I wasn't sleeping on
Fascinating.
Ginobili, but I'm bullish.
Oh,
Ginobili was
fascinating.
nice as hell.
Ginobili better.
I'm
as well as Steve
ridiculously
Nash.
high on
Nice as hell.
Ginobili.
I
So
wasn't sleeping on him, but yo, Ginobili was a baller. Yes, he was.
And that's my thing. So I can't say how this series would go. I can't say how many games or who would win, but I can say that 05 Ginobili clears Tyrese Halliburton.
He kicking ass in this series. 100%.
oh, he's way better than Tyrese
he
Halliburton.
kicking ass. in
Yeah,
this
I'm here so often that like the opinion of Manu Ginobili outside of PC is not the one that I share or Ox shares or that up here seems to share. So I'd be forgetting that like people don't think Manu Ginobili's that good.
They
Like,
don't,
outside
yo.
of PC,
They don't.
like, people really don't think Manu Ginobili's that good.
When you be
So
talking
like
about
I'm comfortable
Yeah.
saying, yeah, Manu Ginobili, he's this, and this. He was a top 10 player in the league, blah blah. Like I'm comfortable saying that up here. But if I dare say that outside of this space, I have to listen to how Manu Ginobili's actually like the 25th
Mars,
best.
who do you hang out with? Who are the people that you be talking
I
to?
don't talk to those people. I just observe.
Right.
And I'm like,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm
But
like,
yeah, I seen
Mars,
someone
you should
say
not.
I seen someone say Manu Ginobili is the 31st best shooting guard ever.
is see like
That's
that kind of stuff right
ridiculous.
there takes years off my life. It just does. Because you can't name
Did-
30, you can't name 20, you can't name 15 two guards in the game better than Manu Ginobili.
At that
You can't do
time?
it.
No, chill. I think Mars
Period.
got it mistaken. I don't think they said 31st. I think they said you were third to first.
Oh no, because I seen Paul Westphal on the list. I seen Paul Westphal on the list above Manu Ginobili.
That's
crazy.
not better than Manu Ginobili.
Yeah.
Really
Shout out to
not.
Suns legend Paul Westphal, by the way.
And he was awesome too. Yes,
Yeah,
he
shout out
was.
to him.
Lost in the finals to the Celtics in 7 in a dogfight. That did happen. He wasn't.
So
bad.
yeah, I'm higher on Ginobili, like way higher than consensus. But I'm so comfortable saying it on this platform because this platform is so high on Ginobili in general.
30.
But outside of PC, the things that I say about Ginobili or Ox says about Ginobili are genuinely just seen as blasphemous. So we don't know ball. We need to look at it.
Man, it's why-
Apparently.
see, I don't know. I
Top
don't
five.
know what to say about that.
Yeah, but
What are you doing?
Pacers in 5 with Ginobili, Pacers in 7 with Hallie.
Mm.
Hello, sir, sent through a super chat and said Giannis 10th in defensive rating. Above him are on teams of Minnesota, OKC, the Los Angeles Clippers, Rock, and 11 through 18, same teams, plus Boston / Orlando, all great defensive teams. While Giannis on the worst being a top 3 to 5 offensive players. This is why I don't think it's a gap for best in the world talks like y'all.
I mean, you know, I agree. So
I don't.
shout out to you.
Oh, is he using basketball reference defensive rating? Okay. I think defensive rating individually is a flawed stat. I think basketball reference defensive rating is even more flawed.
I've changed my mind on defensive rating. When I saw that Larry Bird had a better defensive rating than Scottie Pippen, I'm good.
Before it's worth, JDub is second in defensive rating. So shout out to
Cat
him.
was, just so you know, I think last year when Minnesota had the best defense in the league, Cat was in top 5 in the league in defensive rating.
He should be.
Cat's defensive rating per basketball reference is 1 lower than Giannis. James Harden's is 1 lower than Giannis.
Swiping, you think he
I
should
care
be?
about defensive rating.
No, I
but
think given the context of last year, that's why. That's why. it was so low.
Jokic defensive rating is 2 lower than Giannis.
What points?
What do you think about that,
Yes.
Swiping?
Like 112 to 110 type thing.
109 to 111.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's like a big gap though, like D rating.
But when you say this guy's 10th, and it's like,
Yeah,
sure, but
yeah, for sure.
he's 10th tied with about 18 people. No, it's like 5 people actually. But it's like a bunch of
Swiping, I think the only reason you think Cat's rating should be that is because it came from the job he did on Jokic.
No, I think the job he did within Minnesota's scheme last year, like I think he
On
did a really
Jokic?
good job. No, the whole season.
I think that they did a great job in protecting him last year.
No,
That's
yeah, for
why he
sure.
was-
But he was also good. Like he's not a rim
Because
protector.
he was surrounded by the people to protect.
Yeah, Cat
him.
contributed. Cat did his best to not be a liability within the team.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he did a good job of that. Shout out to Cat. He sucks on defense, but shout out to Cat.
No longer Gabe said if this show don't start in the next 5 minutes, I'll replace Adam Silver with Lowe as the commissioner of the NBA. Lowe would be terrible.
Yeah,
What?
hold on.
What is this about?
I don't know, but hold
Yeah,
on.
I don't
Oh, he
know
was
the
30
correlation.
minutes late, so he was just yapping.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we did
yeah,
have
he
that
Had to take an aspirin or something, probably get his mind right.
He might have been just getting back. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's pocketing
Bro,
his full
hey,
of fresh
maybe
ones.
so. That's
Because
what
you
it
know
looks
when
like.
you go there, when you go to these establishments, I've only heard, you give them money.
Don't worry.
and
Next PC weekend, you'll see.
and then they hand you money. You give them money, they hand you the ones. So
Ron,
Yeah.
you did
Or you could just pull up with your ones already.
that can
Yeah.
happen too.
but I'm not Drake. Drake
Which is
comes
why I still
with
got
the bucket.
these.
He comes
So
with
like
bucket,
when I like so
peel the
so
bucket
Swiper,
off with dough.
Literally, he'll have stacks. Like, I mean, he must have $20,000 with him. Chill. Literally, pull the bucket, the lid off the bucket, a bunch of security guards, and then he'll just start pulling out just like stacks of ones, and just.
So Swiper, some establishments they charge you for one. So like for instance, like during when the world was going through some things, you know what I'm saying, we actually through quite a bit of pop-up establishments. You know what I'm saying? And when we were doing these pop-up establishments in Northern California, we were charging anywhere from 10 to 20% to exchange your ones. You know what I'm saying? So I would come
That's
with
horrible.
your ones.
That
Horrible
happens.
bank
That
system.
happens.
Goodness gracious.
That happens.
Well, I mean, well,
You know
I,
what?
we,
You
we
know
got
It
what?
one.
works
Now
for
I'm
you. It
thinking
works
about
for
it.
you, but like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
I'm
those was
thinking
good
about it
times.
because
Good times.
Ron, is that jacket furry? Is that a furry jacket?
That's
you have on?
100%.
That's a furry jacket. This
That's
boy just
lion
stole
right there.
candy
That's
jacket.
white
He
lion
out-
right there.
That ain't no lion shit.
He
He walk
just
around
stole-
thinking he a polar bear.
That's a poodle. That's what that is.
Ron just got here. I swear, Ron, 100%. He got the same fit he had on last night.
Ron, let me see your eyes real quick.
Hey, real talk. And Candy ain't getting her jacket back either.
Can't take in the jacket.
I mean, she can, but you know
She might have to do something for it, Ron. Is that what you're trying to say?
what?
She might have to do something for it to get it back.
Don't answer that, Ron. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. As your lawyer, do not answer that question.
I have another
trying to
super
tell
chat from Nick Dawson. Nick Dawson said yes, or Swiper yesterday said OKC was an elite team and that the 2024 Celtics were not a great team.
No, I tell
They
you,
were just a very good team.
Yeah.
If OKC loses Game 7, is
Yes.
OKC still a better team than the Celtics?
Yes, because I
He
don't think the
said
Celtics were
best
better
in the
than this
world.
Thunder team. I think the Thunder. Okay, the Celtics would have lost last year if they had the right matchup too.
I
So,
think the Celtics are a great team. Disagree with Swiper
I
wholeheartedly.
think OKC is just a better basketball team.
Hey, shout out my man
Actually,
Beeler.
Throughout the playoffs, I think I've come to the conclusion that they're absolutely not actually better
Not
than
what?
last year's Celtics team.
Yeah, that Celtics team I think would have got beat.
Way
if
more
they would've-
offensive talent.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's not
Way
the
more
conversation.
offensive talent. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they would have got beat. I had already predicted that them and Denver were going to play, and I thought Denver was going to rack them. But I just think that matchup was horrible for the Celtics. But I think you had to be the right type of team to play them. Minnesota would have been better than Dallas. I thought Dallas was going to get washed, and they got walked out. They should have been a sweep.
Mhm.
But we all remember what happened when the sweep was on the line for the Celtics. But shout out to them, man.
All right, y'all. I'm running a poll. Who's better? This year's Thunder
Oh,
or
man,
last
you
year's
can't do that
Celtics?
after a loss.
No, Boston gonna run away with that poll.
Yeah, it's run away. Yeah, it's just.
But I also don't think it's
They
wrong.
should
for me
run
to say
away
Boston.
with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong for you to say Boston's a bad team.
Well, I do.
Yeah, but you don't think Boston's a great team. So like, you just
They're both really good teams, but one of them better. What's wrong with that?
yeah, but you said one's great and one's not.
One's great and really good. That's a 91 and an 89 on a grading scale in America, mind you.
I don't
2-point
know if
difference.
I don't know if that's actually true.
It is. It is true. Like an
He's
A
saying that's the
is an
difference between
excellent.
A and a B.
Yeah, an excellent,
Excellent.
and then there's a very good. That's A and a B. Isn't that real
I
talk?
think
That how your
it's a
grading
B.
system work?
Yeah.
Very different where I come from.
You get an 89. Like I almost got an A, mom, but you didn't
Yeah.
get an A. So get a whooping.
All right, y'all. Tupac Westside said Cinderella's story is still alive for Indiana. Game 7 can go either way. Side note, Ron, you were dressed like have my people call your people guy. LOL. All up.
Ron think you Victor Sweet.
Something like that.
All I'm saying, Ox, is one ass whooping deserves another. That's all I'm going to say about this.
Now hey, Chill, you see that from Adam West?
Oh,
Did Ox and Ron, we're in the same age? Real talk, almost the same age as us. Chill, a little older. Did you have that system where you had to get like a 92 to get an A, and you got a 91? It was a B plus.
no, it was 89.
That was ridiculous.
89,
I had that.
89 was a B plus, 90 was an A.
What do you mean I have a 91? I don't have an A.
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
kinda weird.
I'm actually in
First
school
of
right now,
all,
and that's
I want
the
to.
grading scale
I'm
that
just
they
gonna go
use.
ahead.
That's stupid. Real talk.
It is. I
Yeah,
get
but
pissed off.
my thing, Swipe, is I
91
don't know.
B.
Like,
Okay.
not. 90, 93, 91, that's not really, I don't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was growing up,
77,
a 90 to
78,
95 was
79.
an A. 95 and above was an A+. 80 to 85 was a B. 85 and higher was a B+.
Mark, what's your grading system in England? Like, how do y'all do the grades there? Can you just answer the question directly with us?
I'm thinking. It changed from letters to numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah. So like the equivalent of an A turned into like a 9 or something. And then it goes down 9, 8, 7, 6, blah, blah, blah.
Could you get a 10?
That makes sense.
No, 9 was the max, I think. I can't remember when they changed it.
Mm.
Maybe like 2019, maybe. So 9 was the max. I think that might have been like the equivalent of like an A+ or something. And then you work your way down.
You have to get like a 6. You have to get a 6 or more to pass.
Real talk.
I believe
Real talk.
a 5 was a pass.
You got to see the forest through the trees with me. Hey, Ron.
I'm a little bit older than you.
I might be wrong, but I think that's what it was. I think a 5 was a pass, and then everything above that was like better, obviously, and a 4 and below was a fail.
Ron, you see how
I don't know what percentages you needed, but I know it's lower bars.
No, that works. That gives me a frame of reference. That's all I was curious. Ron, you see how I got him to admit that he was born in England and went to the
I
English
just know
school
the system. I just know the
system. No.
That's why I had to think about it.
I know it sounds ridiculous.
No. You have direct. You have
I
direct.
was born a little bit before
4D chess.
A little bit. And
there was
Hey,
a
Rob
time,
Pelinka.
there was
That's my Nico Harrison right here. Mars, my Nico Harrison.
There was a time when the F was
Snuck in through the back door.
so the grading system was E, which is excellent, G, which was good. Just so you know, guys. Just so you know, guys, F was not failing. F was fair. So you passed with an F. Yeah, F was fair.
This how long ago Chill was running around in school.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, how long ago?
Oh, they was just passing y'all.
I was incomplete, and U's was unsatisfactory, which is an F.
I know about you.
Well, not real talk. It's more. They passing along now more. So the grading system might have been different, but now they're just pushing kids through. I remember back when we was in school, you could get held back. They're not even holding kids back.
That's crazy, Ox.
You could be in the fourth. Out of this institution. You could be in the 4th grade and can't read, and you going to the 5th grade.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Nuts, like because we used to have the California exit exam. They took the I think I was the last class to take the California exit exam. They took that out of school. You used to have to pass the exit exam to graduate high school.
If you didn't, they took that out. Pass it.
Well,
I'm pretty sure other states had it too. I'm not, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we had it too.
California.
It was called the California Achievement Test. If you didn't pass that, you didn't move on. You didn't.
Well, the only person up here that got eyes for incomplete is Ron. Ron just didn't go to class, and then he would try to get like, "Hey, Rock, can you help me with my homework?" And I was like, "No, it's done already. I turned it in."
Still got that little paper, whatever it's called. What is it called?
Diploma.
Certificate. Yeah, I got a certificate.
Certificate.
Yeah.
That's a GED, Ron.
Hey, I got one.
Whatever it is, man, shit, that works.
No longer Gates.
That's right.
No longer Gates said, I said last year that TJ and Peyton Pritchard is proof that Mark Price would kill in today's game. And Chilltown laughed at me and told me to die. What do you have to say for yourself now, Jack?
Look at his avatar. Do you believe in things?
Did you tell him to die?
Really? You guys know how I feel about Mark Price. Give me a break.
Nah, I know you be hating on Mark Price.
No, I do not.
When I said
I just don't think he was good. No, he wasn't.
Watch that picture so clear.
No, I just don't think he's good as John Stockton. That's all. I don't hate him. I thought he was fantastic. I just
where's Mark Price ranking this league? If John Stockton better than Luka, is Mark Price better than that?
No.
Where does he rank in this league? Is he better than JB?
JB is in Jaylen Brown or Jalen Brunson?
Jaylen Brown.
Mark Price. I think he's in that Trae Young space. Yeah. Ron, you have no idea.
I'm gonna stay quiet, but
Ron, you have no idea how good Mark Price was, especially in today's game with the pick and pop and the pick and roll and step back.
That's a real shooter right there. Yeah.
Coming off threes and shooting the basketball and being efficient. Oh my goodness, Mark Price would be fantastic in today's game.
What you think he would average?
I think he'd be a double-digit assist guy. Definitely think that. I think he'd be I can see him being a like a 19 and 11 guy. I can see that.
Don't look right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Mark Price is
Basically, Hallie.
comfortably better than Trae Young. So I'm just
Comfortably be better than who?
Trae Young. I just think he's.
I like Mark Price was a dog though.
Yes,
Trae Young got no love on
Now,
the
his
platform.
defense would be egregious into the game, but he cares about defense.
Look on the back. Wait, but
Yeah, I
Chill,
wanted to ask you real quick.
just to be clear,
Oh,
Chill, you
yeah.
didn't tell the brother to go play in traffic, right?
I did not tell him to go play in track. No, not when we was talking about Mark Price. No.
Oh, but for another reason. For another reason, maybe. Okay.
I've told guys to. I've definitely told guys to run with scissors. Yes, I have.
Y'all be safe. Put them scissors down before you start
I've
running.
definitely done that. Yes, sir.
Chill, they young enough to be your kids. You should be telling them the opposite of that.
Yeah, well, if you're young enough to be my kids, you need to talk to me like that.
Respect your elders.
Have some goddamn respect,
Yeah, real talk.
little bastard.
You start with you.
I'm respectful up here. What you talking about?
Of your elders?
Argue?
I seen you just being a beef like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
On
Argue
this
real
platform.
talk.
Bro,
A
so
little uncharacteristic a couple days ago.
I like you respectful up here. You got kicked off the show because you couldn't keep your beef.
no, and you know I want to.
You got kicked off the show.
Yeah.
By who? Wait, who was he
he
arguing with?
You don't have to revisit.
No. Mars, who was he arguing with?
That's
He
someone who
was
didn't deserve.
taking care of a beef that you can't seem to end, Swiper.
Oh, it was Penn? You and Penn? You got kicked off the show arguing with Penn?
Look, bro.
Don't be
Penn was,
quiet now,
just
Chris
so we clear, Swiper. If Penn was standing in front of him, he'd have swung on him.
It was like that?
He
Yeah,
was
and then,
swung on him.
Penn would have ducked and then rocked his jaw. That's what would have
No,
happened.
Chill. I didn't see any of this. What started it? Chill. What started it?
If these two guys were in front of each other, it would.
Wait, but what started it though?
Real talk started it.
No,
Just
me
like
and Penn
Penn
have not. Me and Penn have not been on one accord since I cooked
Ever.
them on Ox platform
ever, like
a year
ever,
ago.
ever.
So
He
you
has to,
saying
like,
he's
never
holding
had-
a grudge for a year-long debate?
He's been. It does not act like that is out of the realm of possibility for that fella. Please, come on now, come on.
No, real talk.
But
What
I
was
do
the
want to
gist of
say
the
this. I
convo
saw
about?
all the kumbaya spirit up here. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, I saw Mars and Dub conversating and smiling and
That was so
grinning
beautiful.
together.
That was
I
dope.
saw
That was dope.
Ron. I saw
Mars and
Ron
Dub
and
had beef?
Ox in the same room. You know, being cordial.
That's why
cordial
you and Penn
peaceful
weren't
friendly.
invited to yesterday's episode.
And so now I just want to say, you know, to Penn that I felt all that spirit, all that kumbaya spirit, and it's still fuck you. I said I don't really like you like that. It's fine though. But let's continue. Let's
Wait, real talk. Can you at least give me a 5? What started the argument? Like, what started it?
no, it's
Don't be
It's because real talk threw a jab that he didn't have to.
no. Look, okay, swipe.
Sorry,
Here's-
real talk.
here's-
I'm
here's
so
what-
oblivious.
Here's what
You've been
happened.
talking this whole
Here's
time.
what
Real talk.
happened.
Can I explain this?
Here's what happened. Here's what
Well, this
happened.
this
Swipe,
3 days
no,
ago,
real talk. I think you talked enough, bro. I think you talked enough. Real talk. Let me.
You're right.
explain.
You're right.
Nah, you got it, bro. You got it.
You're right.
All I know is that if they were standing in front of each
Wait,
other,
Ox,
we
was this
would've had
3 days? Was this a Wednesday or Tuesday? So I can go back and watch it.
Tuesday.
I don't know. Swipe.
Tuesday?
I wasn't even
I'll
there.
check. I
It
think
was
it might have
Wednesday.
been. It might have been Wednesday.
It was definitely.
I wasn't even
It
there.
was
Swipe.
Wednesday,
But
bro?
one thing I am gonna tell y'all real quick, and I don't want to be messy. I don't want this to go no further. But don't think he no punk. I'm just gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Just
no,
leave it alone. I'm just gonna say that and just walk away. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get involved.
I gotta bounce, brother.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
All right,
It was
chill.
Wednesday episode. Wednesday
Y'all
episode.
know
Hey,
it's chill.
with-
I'll see you
With that
Tuesday.
being said,
Big
PC
Ox
weekend is coming soon, so
All right.
we'll see who gets invites and who doesn't.
Wait, y'all got kicked off
How
the show.
soon?
Let me get back
How
to
soon? It's
How soon?
been a long time. It's been a long time since I really got kicked off. It feels good to not be in danger of getting kicked off the show anymore.
Who did you get kicked off arguing with? Ox, you're a very kind, kindred soul. Who would you get in an argument with?
That's what I'm saying. Imagine somebody wanting to argue with me. Well, Swiper, before you came up here, I had to play the role of the liberator. You know what I'm saying? Before I was
man.
on the panel,
Here
there
we
was a
go.
certain individual that had everybody boxed up, sitting in corners, in timeout, nose in the corner. I had to come through and let him know, like, bro, we not doing that. You're not finna talk to my brother Mars like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna disrespect like that. So you know what I'm saying? I had to play the role of the liberator.
Mars ain't really need your help. Mars
Well, it wasn't just Mars.
choosing
I only said Mars's name just because he's here. Nobody else. These other three weren't on.
Last I checked, him and Mars debated in. Well, either way it goes. Shout out to everybody on this platform, and shout out to all the beefs that have turned into.
And shout out to Jason Grills, been hanging out with us all show. We've asked him exactly one question.
Shout out to Ari Spears though. Shout out to Ari Spears.
Join the show, man.
Man, shout out to you, man. Shout out to Real Talk, man. Coming up in the world, man. Shout out to my dog, even though you're getting in an argument for no reason whatsoever. But you know what? That used to be, he used to want that to be me, but we're
Real Talk knows how the content game works. Just start a fake beef with Pen, get some views, man.
Man,
Real talk. That's the
Using
game.
Pen
No,
to
wait a
come
second.
up
Wait a
with-
second.
No, that's your game plan, Real Talk?
Y'all gotta understand. Y'all gotta understand that the reason my man was so on edge that day has a lot to do with Swiper. Like, are we gonna? You know what I'm saying?
What?
Were we not here on Monday and Tuesday too? Like,
what do you mean?
Swiper did. Swiper. So on Monday, you in the exposure weren't. Come on. See,
No,
this was
that
about
was
earlier.
this week.
Swipe-
Yeah, that
Well,
was.
no, remember to start the show.
throwing haymakers and
No,
putting
no,
his
no.
hands in his pocket. Like,
Remember to start the show. I don't hide my hand. Remember to start the show. I was giving him praise for being the draft person, and I was even turning.
Swiper, sock
No,
dude
that's
in
not
his
what
jaw
happened.
and
And
then
then-
be
and
like,
then-
no heat,
remember-
but you know what you did.
Ox, remember what happened is
can't do
I
that, bro.
turned it. I was giving praise, and then it started being little jabs towards my direction, and then it turned into exposure, and then at that point it became a whole thing. I wasn't doing nothing. I was literally showing nothing but love that episode until
Nah, Swiper, you a nasty that episode, man. I'll be honest with you, man. That was crazy.
Thank you, Jason.
Even though I couldn't get through it, but
Well, shout out to the exposer and shout out to Penn. Next Monday, it will be real.
Yo,
talk.
can you imagine if
Swiper.
Thunder lose?
Oh, you're gonna be nasty Monday.
Back to what I was saying. Real talk, Swiper, Penn, and the exposer, and I will be up here hosting. Mars, Ox, you guys can feel free to take that episode
Good
off.
grief.
I'm sure Chill will be up here because he doesn't load manage, and we're gonna have a hell of a time.
You guys are bullies, man. Pen, I'm on your
Straight
side. Everyone trying to create beef with Pen for no reason, man.
All right, I'm not going to let that one slide. Mars, especially you of all people. I'm not going to regurgitate information I know about you that we've talked about. And on top of that, I'm not the one that started any of this stuff with Penn or with Real Talk. But you see, me and Real Talk have come to an agreement now. We're besties, okay? We're planning on doing a guys trip. A guys trip with our boys. Going to go to Montana, check out the cabin, check out the bears and all that stuff. Go hunting, and then
Montana. I've seen that movie before.
The fact that
I
he
didn't-
just
and I didn't make
is
I didn't
able
make it
just
through the whole
to
movie.
come up with this stuff off the riff is crazy to me. We have
What the
not
hell y'all
discussed
finna do
a
with
trip or Montana. I don't even.
Ron,
No,
Ron,
guys,
you
trip in
seen
June. I respect it.
the trip in Montana? You
Yo.
seen that movie when he
Yo, I'm
when he
about to
played
go.
with Heath
March.
Ledger?
That's what I thought was happening. I was like, in June, that's perfect timing. I was like, oh, nice. Okay.
Sorry, Alex. I know you're enjoying that corner, but there you guys.
No,
go.
one of them has to be a bottom. What we doing?
Whoa, whoa.
This way.
Hey,
or-
no, and then you put me at
All right, my bad.
What? Hey, man. It's that month too. Look, don't get people.
Yo,
don't have
boy.
people thinking. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out. Hey,
I think
shout
I
out,
got to get out of here. I don't want to be a part of this.
All right, y'all. We got some more super chats. So let's go ahead and run through these.
Y'all
Edmund
not gonna
Williams
get me
Jr.
canceled.
Chill's not here, but he said, Chill, you may or may not be surprised at this, but you got 2 out of 5 all-time total blocks correct on the pop quiz yesterday. But I have the correct answer. John Wall, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, yes, KD, Larry Nance, and Hakeem. All-time blocks at each position.
No, didn't I thought?
MJ had
No,
more
no,
blocks
no,
than
no.
Wade.
D Wade. Nah, D Wade passed MJ.
That's what I thought. I'm gonna check total blocks.
I'm positive D Wade passed MJ.
D Wade has 885. D Wade 885. Someone remember that just in case I forget. Michael Jordan
885.
has 893.
Damn.
MJ has 8 more.
I thought he passed him. Okay.
MJ has 8 more.
What it was so eight more? Yeah. I thought
No
he
longer
passed him
Gabe.
for sure.
No longer Gabe said, I purposefully sent that previous chat to get peak Mars today. Did we
He
get
sent a
peak
super
Mars?
chat about he sent a super chat earlier about TJ being better than managing Oakley. You didn't read it, but he sent that. That was the one he was alluding to.
Shout out no longer gay. 913 T-Mac said yesterday sparked a question when you guys brought up Tim Duncan's resume. My question is, who has the best resume with no regular season MVP?
None.
With no MVP, who has the best?
No one's
resume?
ever won them. Kareem probably.
No, he's saying of players who haven't won one.
Players,
Not if you
yeah.
take their MVPs off.
No.
Is
My
Savannah Wade
answer,
up
my,
there?
my answer is
Wade.
Jerry West. My answer is Jerry West, but
West. Great, yeah, that's a good answer.
Jerry West, Chris Paul, Kawhi.
Jerry West don't got no
D-Wade.
MVPs.
Nah.
Chris Paul's another really good
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, my answer is Jerry West.
Y'all got Kawhi.
Yeah,
Oh,
you really
nah,
got to be one of
Wade.
them ones. Oh man.
I'm surprised you ain't got Al Horford.
Nah, Kawhi clears out Horford.
But Al Horford has a better career.
Better career, yeah, but like, who's a better player? Is Kawhi.
But the
It's just
question was
because the
resume.
injury though. Like,
Yeah, but the question was resume, not better player.
oh, okay. Well then, man. I can be swayed, man. I can be swayed.
Alan L said TJ would have outclutched MJ himself in 1998. TJ is way
Keep cooking,
greater
Alan.
than Stockton. Yo,
TJ's amazing.
we got some new members. LLTB8. Shout out to LLTB8.
Oh yeah,
Rob
Scottie
P.
Pippen. That's right.
And 913 T-Mac all became YouTube members today. Shout out to them. K. Nicole said TJ Middy's feeding families.
Yeah, he's been amazing that little like 12-foot range. Doesn't miss.
And he's floating away from on every one of them.
I'm a. Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
yeah, you
My
good.
Wi-Fi went. I'm actually it's kind of the reverse of that because TJ's middies had me so excited yesterday I almost forgot to feed my kids. So just throw that out there.
Trayvon Ray said
What was
also,
the last one?
Mars is not lying. The takes from this series alone on NBA Reddit and Twitter makes me want to choke somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know what I said that I'm not lying about, but yeah, I mean, social media is just a cesspool of agendas and all of that stuff. I said I'm not trolling until the end of the season. The season ends on Sunday. My troll bag on Monday gonna go crazy.
Oh, never mind. You invited.
Yeah, my troll bag Monday gonna go crazy.
Ron, what was the one right prior to that you just shared?
So what?
What didn't you just share a super chat right before that one? Maybe that was the $5 one. Never mind.
This next one I got is from JT Blix. JT said Pascal proved y'all wrong last night. JDub got put on a t-shirt last night. He cannot still taste Cameroon's finest. Whoa, pause.
That was one adjustment they made that they switched Neesmith off of J-Dub, put Pascal on a little bit.
Shout out.
Don't know how effective it was because the game was over by like the second, third quarter. So
we got a couple other new members. Shout out my man Nick Dawson. Shout out to PC Football. PC Football coming back soon. Y'all stay posted. But shout out to Nick Dawson. Also, shout out to Steven Johnson. Shout out to Steven Johnson as well. Another super chat from the Black Ronin. The Black Ronin said, which do you guys think is more costly in the playoffs? Luka's inability to defend or SGA's playmaking weaknesses?
Luka's defense.
Yeah.
Shout out.
that depends on the personnel around them.
Sure.
Because if Luka was on OKC,
Luka was on Dallas. Luka had an elite defense last year.
yeah, but not OKC.
I know, but it was pretty elite though, relative to the league though. That's not, but they but separate.
Well,
Kyrie
yeah,
also,
no one's OKC, but
yeah,
Luka's
Kyrie also lost that series too. But
Yeah, nobody ever
Another
knows why
intel.
Kyrie was just shit in that series. It's cool though.
he had that good game 3.
the one they
3.
won.
Mhm.
No, it was a game they lost. Game 3, maybe. Let me check.
Yeah, like
I might
30
just
something.
make- something like that. I might be lying. Let me see.
MTEL 22.
The defense wouldn't
Game
look
3.
that good. The defense wouldn't look as good with Luka. Obviously, like the defense would drop. SGA is 4 times the defender Luka is, if not 5.
Meanwhile, in that game, that was the game Luka fouled out. The game where Kyrie played well. You guys remember that in the finals?
I mean, but Ox, like, both of them can't hold TJ, so.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Do you know what TJ do to Luca?
I actually don't want to imagine that, if I'm being honest.
MTL22 became a YouTube member. Shout out to MTL and appreciate you for being on Playback with us last night. Speaking of Playback, y'all know where to find us. Game 7 on Sunday. Y'all better pull up because, well, it's the NBA Finals and it's Game 7. And the winner wins a championship. So, Game 7, all the marbles on the line. We're going to be on Playback. Y'all should be there too. Also, next Friday.
Oh my goodness.
Next Friday, we got the panel chat awards. That is my same exact reaction. I'm screaming because, well, this is going to be crazy. That's all I can say is this is going to be crazy. If you was on Playback last night, you would have heard some of the categories that we got. I'm not going to go into the categories right now, but next Monday, I'll let you guys know exactly.
Was that you that did it intentionally?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
that was my daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you. That makes sense. That's a pass. Just, you know, having fun in life.
I see you, Mark sent through a super chat and said, Nimhard on SGA is this year's Jaylen Brown on Luka. The gap between them and the next best defender is so clear.
That's fair.
Give him the finals MVP.
I feel like Pascal's done a decent job, but this Neesmith.
I think Pascal's been really good on defense in this series.
01 Shohans became a YouTube member. Shout out to 01 Shohan. Nixon6 sent through a super chat and said, chill. What's the gap between TJ McConnell and John Stockton? I think it's close, to be honest.
Does TJ go above John Stockton all time with a ring?
Y'all have dragged this John Stockton hate. I mean, just
now I actually don't have a problem with John Stockton, but I'm sorry. John Stockton is closer to being TJ McConnell. I said this a couple days ago. TJ McConnell is closer to John Stockton than John Stockton is to being the third best player in the league today. Like, I don't even think that's a hateful statement. I'm not listening to John Stockton be the third best player in the NBA. I'd much rather listen to a TJ McConnell conversation before that.
Could Chris Paul be the third best player in the NBA?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say John Stockton could then.
Chris Paul, I don't think you know how much better Chris Paul is than John Stockton.
Nick,
I'll take TJ over both of them, Chris Paul and John Stockton.
Nick's in 6 said Celtics' most important player is Jason Tatum. Best player is Jaylen Brown. Huh?
What a ridiculous take that is.
1-1 Finals MVP though. And
well, actually, we don't know what Jason Tatum's going to look like after the Achilles. So, I mean, is it crazy to say Jaylen Brown's better? I don't know. Right?
Yeah, but he's like 27 now.
Yeah, right.
I said all things considered, age included. Jason Tatum is 6'9". He's 20. What?
Coming off a torn Achilles, right?
6.
He'll be fine. He's gonna be fine.
JT Blitz.
He would have to drop off pretty sternly to get to Jaylen Brown territory.
JT Blitz said, so then Ox, is SGA even a top 3 most important for OKC with your logic?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Who's the top 3? Caruso, Shea, and who?
It would be Caruso, SGA, and JDub.
Yeah.
I told y'all when Chet got hurt at the beginning. Remember, I told y'all when he got hurt, I said they're actually going to get better. Not because Chet isn't that good, but just because of how they play. And what happened? They ended up winning 68 games. Man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Chet's regular.
68 games.
Pimp named Slickback said Halliburton is easily their best player. This is why numbers exist, because eye test leads to feelings. Siakam is playing better now, but Hallie is better.
Halliburton is quickly becoming the third eye basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that want to be a want to sound intelligent. It's past the box score, man. You're not really watching. You don't know the game. You got to really open your third eye, see what's going on. Halliburton is really doing like no, he's cool, bro. Cool player, cooler player, man. Cooler player. It's good.
I think he's better than Siakam, but
Yeah, I'm a little bit, maybe. We'll see.
Cultured Bandit sent to a members chat and said OKC's identity is defense, while the Pacers' identity is the power of friendship. Pacers in 7.
Nothing
Shout out to
stronger
the
than
power
a,
of
than a
friendship.
good friend, man. Friends. How many of us have them? Come on,
0.
guys.
My name is Ron, and I don't need them. Friends. Got
He
dollars
got
in my
one in her
pocket
name.
for you.
Friends.
Huh.
Come on, Mark.
Friends. He got one. Her name is Candy.
Now, see, Ron. See now, Ron got to see that.
Friends. Hey, he got another name is Cindy.
Yes, sir.
Friends.
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 He even stole their jacket. Friends.
Friends. My man lives on the street outside that club. Friends.
Oh,
Kareem NYK 2001 said, Mars, you
Damn.
lied about Chet. The truth, tell the truth. Food at the rim.
oh no, I still think Chet's defense has been amazing in this series. The offense has been absolutely terrible. But I'm not going to stop lying about the defense.
Culture Bandit with another super chat said, are we getting a Scott Foster legacy game
Probably.
on Sunday?
Probably. I think that's the worst decision they could make. Mars, I said this on Twitter. I think
Is
when
he
they
repping
grade
it?
him, huh?
Is he repping it?
I don't know, but he might. But the thing is about Scott Foster and his crew, he grades out, I bet, really well with the NBA when they do their grading scale for missed calls and correct calls. I think he controls the game worse than almost any ref in the league. And I think that would be a travesty if they let him do the game 7 as a referee. I don't want to see that.
But you know what though? It's not even so much whether or not how good they do. It's more so about the narrative. When the people see Scott Foster, it's just they lose it. Like no matter how good of a game he refs, if he refs game 7, any way it goes, the opposing team's fan base, they're gonna be like, "Well, Scott Foster, he control," So
Napping Trade
Worst
said
referee
Swiper is
since,
a grade
Joey
A
Crawford.
snitch.
Why does that $5 one get read and the other $5 ones don't get read? I didn't say that today. That's crazy. Minding my business today.
Yeah,
Shout out to Napping Trade.
you do give those vibes.
I have no reason to snitch on anybody. I mean, unless you like hurt someone, then obviously I'm going to tell. You should not be able to hurt people and just walk away from it. Or if you take somebody money away from the venue you were at last night and you keep it in and you repocket it the next morning, then you probably should get torn off.
He goes snitching.
Swiper. In 2014, we was at a spot, and when I tell you,
Nah,
we gotta
no,
get up
finish
out
the
of
story. Finish the story.
We gotta get up out of here. Out in the stream.
I seen somebody pick up money off the floor. That's all.
Nixon 6 said basketball isn't the same everywhere though. There's 1-on-1 leagues, there's 3-on-3 leagues, there's Euro League rules. It depends on the league's rules.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my point.
man.
That's my point. Basketball is different outside the NBA, which is why being better at basketball doesn't necessarily mean.
Bro, he had a year picked out.
Fink
Ron said, "I'm
Jones-
getting my $20 back. They charged me at the door."
Fink Jones said if Hallie hit the game winner, y'all gonna have to consider firing Ron for the greater good of your business product.
Hallie hit a game 7 game winner. I'm gonna be right there with Ron pushing that not Steve Nash propaganda. What we talking
We
about?
getting fired.
Yeah. He hit a game winner game 7. Best believe he better than Steve Nash.
The switch up is crazy.
Hey man, I told you Monday gonna be a bunch of trolls no matter what happens. So Hallie hit that game winner. Yeah, you might not want to see me.
The fact that is like a real possibility.
Game 7 game winner in the finals. Yeah.
Bruh.
The Black Ronin said, I think Dort is better on defense for what he specializes in, which is guard defense. But I think JDub is just as good overall because of versatility.
I think Dort's improved a lot as an off-ball defender, but I do think JDub was their best regular season defender this year.
Ziggy21 said, if the Solomon Hill incident never happened, would the GOAT debate even be a debate? Would we have witnessed another Lakers dynasty?
That was 2018-19. They were the 4 seed at the time, correct?
No, that was his
No.
Solomon Hill incident was 2021 when he was leading the MVP race and Solomon Hill was the leader. But would the GOAT debate even be a debate? I mean, I'd still have Bill Russell.
Wait,
So-
what? Hold on. Did you talk about the next one in 21?
Yeah.
So he had
What did Solomon Hill do though?
He dove for a loose ball into LeBron's ankle. LeBron got hurt.
Hustle.
I thought that was
Okay,
what
hustle
happened in
play.
2018-19. Wasn't that same?
Nah, that was
No,
against,
that
that
was-
was
he
against,
just
that was
hurt
against
his
the Warriors.
groin.
He hurt his
Yeah.
groin.
And then he made the
That is
3 right
wrong.
after to keep his 10-point streak alive, right?
That was the Solomon Hill game in 2020.
That was that was
Oh
all
man,
it
actually, I got these LeBron
Yeah.
injuries.
So 2019 was Christmas against the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt his groin. Then ended up missing 27 games or something. Came back, said activate in playoff mode. Playoff mode did not activate. They missed the playoffs. 2021, this is the Lakers coming off the bubble championship.
Mm-hmm.
They're running through the regular season again.
That's
they have the
right.
number 1 defense in the league. LeBron is
That's
favored
right.
for the MVP at that point. Solomon Hill dives for a loose ball into
February?
LeBron James' ankle. Might have been February, maybe. Dives into LeBron James' ankle. LeBron has 7 points at that time. LeBron stays in the game, makes a 3, then comes out the
And
game.
by the way, that might have been the clutchest 3 of LeBron's career. Because remember, it was. I think the game was. Dare I say, it was. Was it like he left the next play? How much
Mhm.
time was on the clock?
No, he had time. That was like the first half. But LeBron, he would have stayed in until he got that 10 points though. So a good thing he got it as soon as possible because LeBron in the fourth quarter with 7 points, limping his way to 10, that would have been tough. So shout out to LeBron for making the shot when he did.
I think LeBron has always played very aware. Like while he's playing, he's very aware of his stats.
That was in March of 2021.
I feel like everyone is though. Real talk, respectfully. And LeBron was not leading the MVP race at that point. By the way, at March 20, that was.
I think like you start the game off. Well, at least I used to like start the game off and on, but then as you just keep playing, it kind of like whatever. But LeBron, I think he knows exactly.
They all do
what he has.
Giannis had the most egregious one though. Remember Giannis, the off the backboard, he off the rim throw to himself for the triple double.
But that's different. That's like
Ricky
that was for like a triple double or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Yeah.
like I think your team or you or whatever, like you get notified like, hey, you probably need one more rebound, you need one more assist.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron knows LeBron knows he has to get to 10. Like LeBron knows. But Giannis doing a cool little Ricky Davis. So, I respect that.
Shout out Giannis, man. Pit name Slickback said, "It's not that we don't think he's that good. It's the folks who overhype Ginobili and Parker to try to downplay how great Tim Duncan is, Mars." I feel like it's the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like they get down. Mondo and Parker usually get like downplayed because they'll be like, "Oh, I mean, who was Tim Duncan really playing with? You wasn't playing with." Like compared to the other greats, like Shaq had Kobe, like.
But yeah, Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker are Kobe. But
I mean,
like,
yeah, no, they're not.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like both of those things happen. I think some people understate those guys to uplift Tim Duncan, and some people understate them. Some people overstate the opposite of what I just said. I can't remember which one I started, but it goes both ways. Is what I'm basically trying to say. But Manu Ginobili's like that. Tony Parker, he was good, but Manu Ginobili was like that.
We got a super chat from Ronald, cooking a buster up here. Ronald said, "Analytics exist, so haters like Real Talk will push agendas. First, people like Jokic can be silenced with their BS."
You hear that Real Talk?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, Real Talk. What are you gonna do? You can't say Jokic screwed the rim when he 97% percentile rim deterrence. Like,
or matter of fact, go to EPM, 4th best defender in the playoffs. Real Talk. Bow, bow, bow.
This is exactly why I don't care about it.
Is he actually 4th in defensive EPM in the playoffs?
Yeah, he is. He was at least when I last looked. Which
right now, Chet's 1, Draymond was 2, Jason Tatum was 3, Nemhard 4, Pascal 5, Kaysen 6, Jokic 7. Jokic better than Caruso. Yeah, see
Hey, Real Talk. Bow, bow, bow. But to be fair, I think Jokic is like 14th in offense.
Where's Giannis? Below
Hey, Real Talk. Bow, bow,
Giannis
bow,
is
bow,
below
bow.
cap.
Hey, hold on.
No.
Let me reload. Look, hold on. Reload the clip. Andrew Nemhard takes Giannis to the rim for the game.
No, read off the offense. No, read off the offense now.
Jalen Green in defensive EPM in the playoffs. Oh no.
No, read off the offense. Read off the offense. Because Jokic better be number 1 on offense.
He's not. He's 14th or 18th.
Giannis is below Jalen Green.
Jalen Green? Ooh, Real Talk. Hey, Real Talk. Hey, wait, hold on. Real Talk. Jalen Green for Giannis. Who says no? Straight up.
Yo, all right, y'all.
I would love that trade.
You running 5.7 said, "Hey, Ox, Siakam 2-time champ plus finals MVP. Better career than Horford? He's also made All NBA twice and
All-Star,
all
I
attached.
assume. I assume that means All-Star.
All-Star 3 times. Ox? Who you got?
With the finals MVP, that's interesting. Interesting. But I just think peak Al Horford's better than peak Pascal.
I seen someone say Pascal with this championship and finals MVP is the 3rd best African player ever.
Wait. What do you mean? Define African.
Hakeem.
Behind I can't remember who he said.
Hakeem Mutombo, right?
No, I think he said Giannis. I think he said Giannis is African.
Giannis
sake of
is
the
out,
tweet.
yeah.
We all, but so you say
I
born
mean,
in
that's-
Africa?
I'd assume, yeah. I don't know where Giannis was actually born, but I know.
I don't know if
I know he has
we
Nigerian parents, but he had Giannis. He had Hakeem,
Right.
Giannis, Pascal. That's what he had.
You could maybe say
Joel?
resume. He's not. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, he said Siakam was over Joel. He said Siakam was over Joel, Mutombo.
Even then, he's still not over Joel. Just with the scoring titles, to me, just with the scoring titles and the MVP.
Joel was 12 times better than Pascal Siakam. It's like,
Yeah.
This is that guy said it. So shout out to him.
Somebody
Yeah.
said, "Where
I
is
mean,
Cameroon?" What are they
Breeze
teaching you in
and-
schools? What do you mean? Where is Cameroon?
I don't know.
To be
don't know.
fair,
It's
like
lo-
if
it's
I got
lo-
a map of
it's-
Africa, I wouldn't be
No,
able to
stop
point
it. I
out
don't want to hear it.
Cameroon.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Steve
I
Nash
don't
You'll
is
be
South
able to
Africa.
point
Come
out
on, you
where
got-
Cameroon is.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If you can, I'm not ridiculing anyone. You should be able to find Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Uganda, Rwanda, Nigeria. Like, hopefully you can find those places. I'm saying, if I give you an outline, Ron, I give you an outline of Africa.
Sniper, can you tell me where Chad is?
No, I'm saying like I gave
Can
you
tell me where
the
Eritrea
Zimbabwe.
is?
Zimbabwe is
Can you-
another one. I
can
feel like
Can you tell me
Zimbabwe
where
should
Ghana
be.
is? Can you tell me where Libya is?
I think he's
Yeah,
just
some-
naming the West Africa.
I'm sure you could tell me where Madagascar is. Like it's 1 million African countries.
It's not 1 million.
I couldn't even tell you where Africa is.
Yeah.
I know one thing. I could tell you where every city in California is.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything.
There you go.
I know we on the green parts of the globe. I know that.
But I mean, my geography is pretty decent. I can name most African countries. Though.
My geography
Like
was
on
learning
that,
about
not like
rocks, not
name
learning
them,
about
so.
countries. So.
Hey Felix,
Yes.
you look like Whoopi.
That's
Goldberg
not
and Eddie.
geography,
Watch your
Mars.
mouth.
That's what we learn about different types of rocks and how they erode with waterfalls. That's what we got taught. So that was my geography lesson.
Yeah, but that's not geography. That's
Hey Ron, can you
You
take
take
that?
that class.
Can you
7,
take that
8,
coat off,
9?
please, and go put a shirt on?
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. That's what
What's
we
that
was
called?
taught.
Hey, real talk.
Geology.
Smells like candy.
yeah, but
was
rock,
reading.
but rocks. But geography is not the study of rocks, though.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
letting
right.
you know what- I'm
Geology.
just-
That's geology. Thing.
I said that like 3 times, huh? But yeah, that's what we was taught. in
Oh, okay.
geography.
My Wi-Fi's tripping. My bad.
Oh, you good? But we was also taught. I also got taught about rivers and how they bend. So yeah, meanders.
K-Bird, Red Bluff is a town of about 30,000 people. It's about 30 miles south of Redding and about 1 hour and 45 minutes north of Sacramento on the 5.
Hey man,
Shout out to Red Bluff, man.
Wow.
shout out
For
to
no
bending.
reason, but shout out to Red Bluff.
That's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, you said you worried about rivers and bending, Mars?
That's what we was taught. We was taught about meanders and
Yeah, well, there's somebody. If there's somebody up here that knows about bending, it's real talk. Shout out Avatar.
Oh, I thought we was going back to Montana. Oh, okay.
Super chats.
Is that a
man.
little more comfortable?
Stop putting me up under this.
All right,
dude.
all right. Look, I'm gonna
Please,
put you on the
please.
top row,
Yeah, see,
dog.
real talk want to be dominant. Yeah.
Trayvon Ray said, watching Chet play basketball makes me want to puke. 35% is a big man and 11% from 3. It's like watching a newborn giraffe that can sort of dribble.
Chet's been so bad offensively that, like, for the most part, Miles Turner's just gone under the radar in terms of how stinky he's also been offensively. Like, they've both just been trying to outstink each other.
They having an ass off. Yeah.
Pretty much. And that was the matchup that was, like, kind of hyped up before the series. It's been bad.
Ronald sent through another super chat and said, if you don't use analytics, you shouldn't use box scores either. That's like saying, I trust this old calculator versus ChatGPT. Fear what you don't understand.
I don't use the box score. So
I think that was for me because I said I don't use analytics because
Yeah, that was for a real talk. He doesn't.
you do use analytics, so you use true shooting and stuff.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why Swiper's in here using his burner to send in super chats right now. Is Ronald?
I've never sent a PC super chat actually. I barely pay for the membership for the chat. Why am I paying for a chat membership?
Facts. Great question. Why?
No.
Why?
I
Why?
gotta pay too. The difference between me and y'all is I ain't a cheap nigga. All right. I'm not in the chatter level.
You
I'm
got
up in the
22
All-Star
ones
level.
in your pocket right now that you ain't thrown.
That's enough for like 11 memberships.
I'm just saying, at least I'm an all-star.
Talking about I ain't cheap, and you saved $11 out the club. You out
But real talk.
Hey,
They gave you a new
that.
name in the chat. What's your chat name now?
Bro, I'm not. Look, bro. Hey, Swipe. I know you got your rainbow lights in the background. You know what I'm saying? You celebrating your month.
Yep.
Cool.
Love is love. Yep.
Leave me up out of that, though.
Yep.
Leave me up out of
Yep.
that, though.
Shout out to Free Night.
Swipe a top is nuts, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Insane.
Free Night became a YouTube member. Shout out to Free Night. Pimp named Slickback said, Mars saying social media is a cesspool when he stays subtweeting the entire panel on Twitter.
That's a
is
fact.
Peak irony.
I don't subtweet the panel. What I do is I run polls to see how people feel about things that I may have heard on that. That's not subtweeting the panel. So far, Luca is winning the poll against John Stockton. 92% to 8%.
Interesting.
And John Wall is winning the poll against De'Aaron Fox 81% to 19%. And I'm also running a Manu Ginobili and Tyrese Halliburton poll, which Manu Ginobili is winning 71% to 29%. But the replies seem to be quite upset about the fact that Manu Ginobili is winning that poll. So, interesting.
All right, y'all. We got a couple more before we get up out of here. Zigsaw Puzzle said, did y'all see D'Angelo Russell's tweet in the timeline?
About work on the
About the
mid-range?
mid-range?
Yeah, I don't see the problem. I agree with him. That's why Jalen Green working on his mid-range.
Jalen Green just needs to get stronger, bro.
Super chats. Next one.
27 points per game next season, Roll Talk. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
You got to swipe
And
if
then
you
you
want it.
woke up.
Well, I'm trying to figure out which ones haven't we read. The no longer you read this one. LaMelo Ball and Orlando Obito Beast.
I'm good.
Nah.
I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm good with their squad right now. I got them in the finals next year, all things considered.
Indiana in 5.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
The last one I got is from Ronald. Yet another one. Ronald said, Ron, in what world is Manu better than CP3 and Steve Nash? Let's not go crazy now. Just stop.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, I'm
Fair
not
match,
gonna
Roy.
lie.
Fair match your time. See y'all
He
later.
better than
Merry
Steve
Christmas.
Nash.
All right, man.
Chris Paul, we can have conversation.
Merry Christmas.
He better than Steve. Oh, all right, real talk.
Oh, well.
See you on Monday.
All right, John.
See y'all on Sunday. Y'all know the drill. Pull up and show out on Playback. We out. Real talk. You want Playback today?
Yeah. Is W playing?
Probably.
Yeah. I'll be on there.
Well, y'all make sure to pull up the Real Talk Playback too. Join his
Facts.
room and all of that good
Pull
stuff.
up, man.
We'll catch
Appreciate
y'all
that.
later.
Appreciate that.
Hey.